clash head-on. Ebert, the ball.
Hi and welcome to Saturday afternoon football from the MCG, and it's Collingwood and the Adelaide Crows here this afternoon. We come to you just moments before the game starts from the Collingwood coaches box in the southern stand here at the MCG. And I reckon it might be a pretty hot place to be this afternoon, because this is desperation time for the Magpies, who have specialised in mid-season slumps in recent years. In the last 2 years they've lost 6 in a row in the middle of the year and 8 in a row in the middle of the year, and this year they've won just 1 out of their last 6, and it's been well documented that since Tony Shaw's been coach they haven't won a game in the AFL in the month of June. Can they break through today? Well, they've certainly, their record against the Crows would suggest that they'd be a big chance, because they've played 11 times and Collingwood have won 9 of them. The only 2 victories for the Crows have both been at Football Park, and the only time they played Collingwood at the MCG, Adelaide lost by a massive 96 points. Well, it's desperation times for the reigning premiers as well, as the position on the ladder will show. And Adelaide, they moved up last night with Essendon being pushed down to 10th. Adelaide 9th with a 6-6 win-loss record. They're just 1 game ahead of Collingwood, who are 12th, with just 5 wins in the opening 12 games of the season. I reckon later on this afternoon, this might get a little bit of a workout from Tony Shaw in the coach's box. They've made what is possibly a record 7 changes for this game, and I reckon he'll be on the phone a few times this afternoon. Let's hope the phone survives the day. In the commentary box this afternoon, there's also a little bit of a Collingwood-Adelaide feel about it, and in a few moments we'll be looking at the teams with Graham Corns and Lee Matthews.
The 1998 AFL season brought to you by Telstra, making life easier. Victoria Bitter for a hard-earned thirst. Cadbury Mark of the Year. McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, and Mitsubishi Motors Australia.
Well, Cornsey, as Drew said, we've been to a lot of Collingwood Adelaide games, but mostly on opposite sides of the coaching box. Much more relaxing doing the commentary today.
Well, particularly with my record against you, Lee. I think you actually thrashed me. 1 game I think we won against Collingwood when you were coaching. But strange enough, the Crows never been able to beat Collingwood here in Melbourne, which...
last game was maybe changed the tradition a little bit.
It may be. It is interesting. We see the Collingwood team come out today, 7 changes, Lee.
Have a look at Damien Munker's haircut. Now, he's looking even meaner than normal. It's interesting, I reckon, with the Collingwood team, because they've left out Mark Richardson. Well, he's injured. He had to be left out. They've also left out Anthony Rock and Matthew Francis. I reckon they've said to Damien Munker's today, you're rucking for the day. Sav Rocker's probably the only alternative, so Monkey, you've just got to lead the way. And he's done the haircut for the occasion as well.
They'll hope the ball is on the ground a fair bit, Lee, looking at that makeup.
And it's going to be, because it's really cold, swirly, windy conditions.
And Adelaide, of course, well, they need this win. The 6-6, this win will consolidate them into the final 8 if Collingwood winner just brings them back to the field again. The Adelaide team, interestingly, Ian Perry is the new player, and he comes from East Perth.
Who are you punting at full-back for the Crows?
No, not Ian Perry. I think he'll start on the bench. I'm sure David Pittman, that's the big tip. David Pittman will get the job on Severio Rocker. That's very important. But the midfield is critical also. You see James Rashuto Bickley there. Simon Goodwin perhaps a role in the midfield as well. Not at centre-half back where he's named. And the Collingwood midfield fairly strong. I think that's where the game can be won or lost.
And they've been a sort of very flexible way of scoring, Adelaide. They just keep finding a way to kick what is mostly a winning score, though they're under pressure too.
Well, Malcolm Blight's strategy is interesting. He just gets his backline players to run. If they can run and score goals, they're a good chance of winning.
Well, it's a judgment day for both clubs. We'll take a short break and we'll be back with the opening bounce.
of 10.
When you've got a job to do, the best way to get 10 out of 10 results is teamwork. That's why with help from the teams at Mitre 10 at Wattle, you'll not only be a winner, you'll also be helping to support South Australia's favourite sons, the Adelaide Crows.
We got Daddy.
And that's gotta feel good.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
He's real smart, Jim. This one day, he was so hungry, he had this idea of taking 2 McDonald's quarter pounders with cheese and turning them into one giant burger.
I'm a genius, Billy. I just invented a double quarter pounder with cheese.
And now it's here, McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, with 2 beef patties and 3 slices of cheese.
You should call it a half pounder.
Why?
Only McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese is the official burger of the AFL.
Wherever I go, whatever I do, I know in my heart I'll never be far apart from you. Though the years roll by, you'll see me through and be with me all my life, whatever I do.
You'll have to put on a brave face if you miss Lancer MR Coupe from just $23,990 with CD player and free air. It's out of the bag! You can get Magna Advanced Sedan and Wagon with free air. No more to pay. Mirage from just $14,990 drive away at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Hey, is that mine?
No, you left yours upstairs. Here, give me your keys and I'll go get it for you.
Really?
I'll do anything for you.
Oh, that's nice.
I'll do anything for you. What?
Not funny. The only thing as good as your cherry ripe is someone else's.
Honey.
Telstra Big Pond makes it easy to experience the internet. The world's greatest research tool is also one giant amusement park. Get on Big Pond, because it doesn't matter what you're chasing or what entertains you. If you're looking, you'll find it here. Telstra Big Pond Internet Services makes the ride easy. Just call 1-800-804-282. Big Pond, big possibilities.
First, we told you about the speed camera that fined the wrong car. Now, Monday on 7 Nightly News, the radar gun that got it wrong.
And it's rubbish. They could be fitting you with it.
And the couple taking the police to court for every South Australian motorist.
On Today Tonight, a public hospital disgrace.
It's a real tragedy.
Rooms flooded with water.
Totally unacceptable.
Garbage everywhere, cigarette butts on the floor.
It's absolutely disgusting.
You must see Today Tonight's undercover investigation.
6:30 Monday.
And welcome back to the MCG with the Crows tight-knit before they go into this game against the Pies. The Premiers find themselves outside the top 8. And here's Chris Mitchell checking out Monkey. Well, they used to check nails and boot studs, but now they're checking haircuts.
We'll see with it next week.
Other matches being played today. Geelong and Brisbane at Cardinia Park. Hawthorn and North Melbourne at Waverley. And tonight it's Port Adelaide against the competition leaders, the Bulldogs, at Footy Park. 3 games tomorrow. In Sydney, it's the Swans. They've lost 3 in a row against Richmond. At Subiaco, it's Fremantle and Carlton. And back here at the MCG, it is Melbourne against St Kilda. Well, it's a touch of winter. It's a bit blustery. It's
an understatement, Drew. It's freezing.
And I'll tell you another thing. This could nearly be the lowest crowd at the MCG for a Collingwood game. A pretty poor crowd. Well, I suppose they've dropped off them after their recent form. Peter McKenna, a Collingwood great, and he's out in amongst them in the southern stand.
Good on you, Drew, and a very, very blustery day. Kicking for goal will be difficult, and I think that the game could be won or lost actually at full forward for Collingwood. I would suggest they should play Nigel Smart on Saverio Rocker. He's the danger player. Collingwood have a very good record against the Crows, but of course it depends a lot also on the midfield. As we look at the Collingwood forward line, well, Monkhorst has actually gone down.
Rocker's in the ruck,
to the forward line, and Rocker in the ruck. Not a bad move to warm him up, get him into the game. He actually rucked well last week, Drew.
And there's Damien Monkhorst, who's gone to the full forward line.
And Brown at centre-half forward, Krasinska on the full forward line. Back to the old days for Collingwood. Mobility in the forward half.
Collingwood going left to right in the first quarter. And Rocker actually got up and beat Rand in the middle. It comes down and Tregenza kicks towards centre-half forward. Well, players holding themselves off the ball. Nobody got a touch to it. Trouble for Bond. He's swamped and the umpire comes in and will ball it up. John Harvey. In charge today, Chris Mitchell, John Harvey and Jamie Love.
I guess, Drew, for those with short memories, in the 1990 grand final victory, Brown played centre-half forward and Krasinska played full forward. It's been a long day, long time since they were down that part of the ground together.
Rocker wins another hit out. He's won the first two. McLeod caught by Williams. They go forward, the Crows, inside the 50, and it's good to see Scott Burns back after suspension. Well, if it looks so... Here's Sav getting a kick down near the back pocket. And he's opened up in the ruck well. He kicks to Buckley on centre wing. Oh, well played by Buckley. Free kick.
Yes, Bickley very, very keen to mark him, but just a little bit enthusiastic there. I think it'll be an interesting matchup. Will he let Buckley run free, or will he try and get some kicks as well himself?
Hart takes the mark. It's also a commentator's nightmare, the matchup on that outer wing, Bickley and Buckley. And here's Neil Curley. Girls?
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Interchange for Adelaide. Edwards, Orman Allen, Pirrie and Eccles. And for Collingwood, we have Patterson, Curran, McDonald and Rasso.
Nigel Smart centres the ball out in front of goal. Severio! Well within kicking distance, but no, they're going the wrong way. He's in the last line, up towards the centre of the ground, and Wren takes the mark. Gavin Brown had little chance against him. He puts the kick out wide. Tyson to the edge of the goal square. Rocker couldn't get to that. Pittman! Buried in a good tackle. Burns clears and bounces the ball out.
Very interesting, David Pittman in that contest, Drew, and Damien Monkhorst is his opponent, starting at full forward, and you'll see Pittman here attempting to mark. He's run from full back. Monkhorst hasn't run with him. He's still staying back within Collingwood's 50.
That is really covering the ground. Another little touch there for Sav Rocker. Burns gets the kick out towards centre wing. Tregenza fires off the hand pass, and the Crows moving well just inside the line, or was it? Yes, the mark paid.
Very clever.
Vardy.
Very important to the Crows, his leg speed and his ability to kick goals.
Prosciutto offering a lead to the 50. Vardy wants to go a bit longer. He's got Pittman down there. In that direction, right to the line, and it's punched over. Defensive punch by Kinnear.
It was interesting, Cornsey, you mentioned that Pittman had come off Monkhorst and stayed in the forward line, so Sean Wren has actually dropped back to cover Big Monkey just until they can, get back to the positions in which they started the game. Pittman defence.
Sean Wren much more comfortable too in that back playing ruckman's role. Unless David Pittman's actually on the ball now, it's because Sean Wren is at full back.
Buckley kicks in, magnificent kick to Williams. Takes a bit of a biff round the air from Robran. The two number 10s in a clash. Buckley had followed up after kicking in, and he's just put off his kick by a desperation lunge by Bickley, and the ball's out of bounds on centre wing.
It was obviously that Crowe, they had planned the second stage manoeuvre where Crowe had got very much forward of the ball, but when Buckley received the hand pass, he seemed not to see him, and actually it was a good chase, wasn't it?
Desperate
by the Adelaide forward line.
And Buckley signalling to the umpire, what about the trip? He reckoned he was tackled around the boot. Right. Smart takes the mark for Adelaide at half-back. Wobbly old kick to half-forward. But comes off all right for Collingwood on this occasion. Godden takes the mark. Lots of new faces in Collingwood's side. 7 changes from last week's lineup. Kick by Godden. Wide towards the half-forward flank. Watson with Goodwin. Watson happy to see it out.
Interesting for Adelaide too, Lee, that Mark Prosciutto is looking to line up at full forward there. Ian Downsborough alongside him. Adelaide just improvising with this full forward role.
Expected top 15. We're nearly there at 14. With a blustery wind and overcast conditions, it's definitely winter. Bickley back to McLeod. Bounces to half forward. Cook fires off the hand pass. Hurried kick by Vardy. Very high. Collingwood need to punch this out of the area. Prosciutto for the Crows. Prestigiacomo. Prosciutto's got it. Shrugs one. Gets support. Downsborough 25 metres out. hooked it too far.
Well, just very good persistence by the Adelaide forward line, particularly with Shudo, who was... Just watch for Shudo here. Collingwood players in control. Ben Kinnear just not able to control it. Persistence from Bickley. Handball to Downsborough, but bent it back too far, in fact. And he had Bond in the goal square. You saw the desperation and exasperation, perhaps, from Troy Bond there.
Lee, one for you. Where do you see the most danger? Rocker at full forward or Rocker in the ruck?
Most definitely Rocker at full forward. Curls, there's no doubt about that. It's one thing to warm him up, but if they leave him in the ruck for more than about 10 minutes, they'll wear him out.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I don't see Monkhorst as a real big danger at full forward.
No, I think Adelaide would be quite happy with the setup at this point.
Here's Sav coming over to contest the boundary throw in against Downsborough. Well, Rocker started well in the ruck. Back to Buckley. That's got to be good for the side. Kick by Buckley. Gavin Brown.
What a contest. Gavin Brown and Nigel Smart, two great players.
Kick by Brown inside the 50. Wren's back there. He's virtually kicked it straight to him, and Wren marks. Well, you'd have to kick it away from Sean Wren.
Well, unless Rocker is going to go forward to provide another target, it's just playing straight into Adelaide's hand to do that.
And he's given it straight up to the opposition. Shaw will take the chest mark on the logo.
In 6 minutes of play, there's been a lot of kicking to the opposition, but it's a very swirly wind. We've spoke about it before the game. It's going to be very difficult to keep your kicks on line, even just in general field kicking.
Here's Stevens for the Crows. Beautiful kick out to Cook. Members wing. Floats the hand pass over the top. Gathered in with a fingertipper by Tyson. To full forward. A push out. Here's a chance at the back. It's screwed around and a goal to Bond.
Sunday, a very special movie premiere.
You ever gone all the way with a girl?
Golden Globe winner Chris O'Donnell.
You really know who you are, don't you?
And Oscar nominee Minnie Driver.
Why would he look at me?
In a romantic story for the young and the young at heart.
I love you. You think I'm not good enough for you?
You went to university to study, not to fall in love.
He was your boyfriend. He was your friend.
Circle of Friends, Sunday 8:30. And coming soon, a blockbuster movie event, Shine on 7.
So the Crows getting the first goal. It took them 7 minutes. Rocker still in the ruck, and he's winning handsomely there so far. Balls go past James to Krasiska. Put off his kick by Stevens. Oh, the hand pass straight to the opposition. And that was a bad mistake. It went to Wren. Came from Mangan, making his debut. Vardy. Peter Vardy out on centre wing. Crows looking to beat Collingwood for the first time ever in Melbourne. Kick by Vardy. Robrin. And made it easy for Shawball.
Lee, I'll come back to this one. I think Monkhorst would have been really primed for this game to start in ruck, and here he is just cooling his heels, getting cold at full forward.
I know what you're saying, Kills, but he would have certainly known for the last day that this was going to be the starting setup. I guess we're all waiting to see just how long it lasts.
Godden caught in a good tackle and raised the elbow there a little bit. The ball has gone out of bounds.
The interesting thing that you mentioned at Curls is that Rocker with this boundary throw-in on the back flank is drifting back into the defensive 50-metre area. You would think if he's going to play ruck, you'd try and get into the half-forward line, at least to try and be an extra marking forward, in addition to the centre bounce ruck duties.
I agree with that.
Interesting kick from James there, Drew. Over the...
Slung down, kicking back over his head. Peter McKenna also on the setup for the pass.
Well, I'm a great one for disliking ruckman staying at full forward. If Collingwood to win the game, I think they do need Rocker down at full forward. Mind you, last week in the last quarter, Drew, against St Kilda, he did very, very well in the hit-out. Now he's going forward to take these hit-outs now, Big Mocky. It'll be interesting to see what Rocker does. Rocker's there with him, so they're both going.
Sav's had 2 hit-outs and 4 possessions early. Monkey up early and gives away the free kick. Advantage comes to Pittman.
And I think you're right, Peter. I think Severio Rocker's now drifting back to full forward.
Pies working it out of defence. Russell, Williams. Off the cricket pitch to the 50. Here's Sav on the forward line. Got it!
Yes, he just had enough room there. He just got away from David Pittman. Pittman still following Monkhorst. And Severio Rocker drifting back, even though Wren came back. He had enough room. The player down the field looked at him, gave him a good look at the ball, and you see, even though he's outmarked, he just had enough time and enough space to get a better jump at it than either Wren or Pittman did.
Fair effort with Wren and Pittman both there.
Well, the two biggest boys on the ground.
He had to sit on it, they didn't. The ball was always carrying over the top of the big Adelaide, those two big fellas. So Rocker had the sit. And importantly, I guess, and that's the advantage of him, plus starting on the ball, he has taken a couple of marks. So this is actually not the first time he's gone for the contest. So I think, you know, as has happened, 7 or 8 minutes in the ruck just to get him into the game. I don't think anyone can think they're not valid tactics.
There's for Collingwood's first score.
They're not valid tactics. That's what they needed. Collingwood the last couple of weeks, they kicked 8 behind straight in the first quarter last week against St Kilda. They were inaccurate the week before against North, and I think this is what Collingwood need. They need to get the score on the board just to get the morale and the confidence going early on.
Tony Shaw up in the coach's box, working the changes. Peter McKenna?
Well, Drew, I don't know whether Lee and Graham agree with me, but I don't know about this marking on the ground and going back 10 paces and all this. You've got to be relaxed kicking for goal and get those arms loose and be confident and go back and just bang it through. I think there's too much regimentation in that run-up.
It's all to do with a set routine, I think, Peter. That's what they're trying to do. Good kick in from Ben Hart.
Kept in by Smart. Blood rule, Bond receiving treatment. Edwards came on the ground. There's Robrin just forward of centre wing. Tyson, who gave it to him, gets it back. Tyson to centre half forward. Buckley. Not quite. Costa. Bickley goes through. Buckley gets him. That's going to be a lot of fun to call all day. Round the corner, Collingwood out of defence. Tyson's been good early. The hand pass. Missed one player. Went through to Downsborough. Costa on the run. Beating tackle after tackle. But the third one got him.
Was optimistic. He may have been able to break the tackles, Costa, but as soon as the Collingwood player dispossessed him, well, the automatic holding the ball.
So Buckley kicks in the direction of Monkhorst, but Wren outmarks him. Play on. The mark not paid. Bounces to Rasciuto. He bounces off an opponent. It's on the 50. Downsborough did well to Bickley. Standing start to the goal square. Godden couldn't take the mark. Happy to concede a point.
He's an interesting-looking player, young Godden. Lee, you might have seen a bit more of him than I, but he looks like he's carved out of granite.
Yeah, he's a tough-looking young customer. No, he came to Collingwood after I left, but certainly he looks like almost one of those old-style back flankers, doesn't he? The big, tough, hard, bulky type.
You can see him there, number 43, but if he was running straight at you, I think...
It's interesting, as Buckley's kicking off, Scott Crowe dropping back again, about 2 kicks from the goal square. He's on for the second option should Collingwood get the first possession. Let's see what happens.
Well, it's 4-on-1 there.
Attempted knock-on, came to the front of the pack. Delivered to Russell, now to Williams. Space for Brown, 55 metres out. Well done, Gavin Brown into Krasiska. Free kick to Brown.
And we mentioned that.
Krasiska's kick scores. It might be allowed.
The advantage.
Oh, no, that's not fair because the other player stopped.
Oh, that's a shocker.
You'll have to put on a brave face if you miss Lancer MR Coupe from just $23,990 with CD player and free air. It's out of the bag. You can get Magna Advanced Sedan and Wagon with free air. No more to pay. Mirage from just $14,990 drive away at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Well, we might be talking about that one all day.
Dear me.
The advantage paid and the goal given to Krasiska as the Adelaide defenders stopped. Peter McKenna.
Oh, Drew, dreadful umpiring. Honestly, they could have stopped it easy. They looked up, saw it was a free kick. As we see Costa go forward, a wrong decision, surely.
Here's Downsborough, already to the forward pocket. Back to Robrin, centering kick. Rasciuto, right in front.
Well, good play by Robin, wasn't he? He actually brought the ball out in front of the goals, and Pressure Tacoma, as the defender will do, is covering the goal side, and the ball that floats 15 metres out in front of the goal. Usually the forward will be the one who'll move into that space, Cornsey, just a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more quickly.
That's very disciplined football from Matthew Robrin. He didn't blast at the goals. He put it in that killing zone, if you like to call it that, just in front of the square. Rasciuto ran onto it easily.
Long being ready to come back, just a minor cut to the hand.
Goal to Rasciuto.
And Mark Rasciuto, what a valuable player he is for Adelaide. He's played in the forward lines on lots of occasions. Only a couple of outstanding games at full forward. He's more of a shock tactic there, but he looks on song today. He's leading his opponent in Prestigiacomo to the ball. And we'll have a look at this Brown incident. You said a handball out here to Krasiska. Krasiska kicks. Now the umpire's blown the free kick, and the umpire in doing so caused the Adelaide player and David Pittman to stop in the goal square.
Just let it go, waiting for the whistle.
The ball bounced in front of him. He let it go through for goal, and they played advantage.
Out of the middle, and Collingwood into attack. Goodwin clearing out of defence, back to the centre of the ground.
And Collingwood player hurt badly down there in the background. Just can't pick up who it is.
Smart dodging and weaving to half forward. Robin in front. It's ball Shawble. Osborne. Buckley. He drew Bickley. We're looking at the injury in the top left-hand corner. Russell's kick. And a free kick to Rocker. Pushed out by Pittman, so David Pittman's had a shocking couple of minutes.
It's Gavin Brown, but actually I couldn't really see who had actually got the knock in that marking contest over there. It looks like he's okay, but a little dazed.
It was a fierce contest. Players coming at the ball. We'll stay with Rocker, but we might be able to pick that incident with Gavin Brown. He's so courageous, Lee. You would know more than any.
Yes, have a look at this. Yeah, just a little bit of pressure from behind there. One of those...
At goal, and he's second behind.
Well, if he has a third shot, he should exactly know where the wind's blowing. The wind's going from right and left, trying to go from where Rocker was aiming, and both kicks have drifted left. He should...
Peter McKenna, did you see the Brown incident?
Yeah, I did. He got flattened in that pack, but I want to get back to this set shot for goal. I don't like it at all when he's missed two sitters. I know it's a windy day, but he's missed them by a mile. This wondering about 10 paces going back. I reckon, look, I took him for kicking 5 years ago. He was a beautiful kick. It was a relaxed kick.
Macca, when he kicked 10-1 against Fremantle about 2 weeks ago, his kicking technique was pretty good with that system.
That was one game, Lee, and he kicked most of them from 30 metres directly in front. I could have kicked them with my eyes closed.
Gavin Brown then.
Yeah, just getting the meat and the sandwich. It's interesting that Rocker, in fact, even though he's been much maligned this year again, has had more shots at goal than any other player in the competition. So he is still getting plenty of shots. Not quite the accuracy in the conversion of Dunstan and Lockett, but still plenty of shots.
That replay showed that he was collected by his teammate James Wasley, making his debut. So what a debut. King hit your captain in your first game.
Well, you've got to go for it. The coach wants him to go enthusiastically for the ball, and it doesn't really matter if your teammate's in the way. You just have to go desperately at it.
Drew with young Gavin. He's got a cut to the back of the head. The doctors will stitch him up now.
Burns judged that well as Wren was taken out of the contest in front. Buckley with penetration across the ground to Williams. They've changed the point of attack. Now Williams straightens up down the corridor. Long to Rocker in the goal square. Rocker shepherds. It gets home for a goal.
There's this sort of whistle coming from under the bonnet.
A whistle?
Yeah.
What, like...
No. It's more...
Oh,
Yes, that's it. What seems to be the problem then?
Well, well, you know, kind of squeals.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you got to slow down and,
yeah.
Well, it goes...
Well, that's a squeal, all right. Sounds like brakes. What I'd like to...
Ultra Tune, in tune with you and your car.
Oh, phenomenal goal by Paul Williams from out of the centre square. Moncourse now on the ball. Wren beats him. Comes up to Vardy, who's got bowled over in a hurry. Bickley a hurried kick. Overrun by Rashuto. Osborne. Safety of the boundary line. Adelaide leading by a point. 2-3 to 2 goals 2 as Gavin Brown, the skipper, receives treatment. Robin and Shawble to do the rucking for the boundary throw-in. Oh, comes down to Bond. Cook over his shoulder. This is Bond.
It's good play, wasn't it, then, by Bond. Running with the flight of the ball. He knew there was space in front of him, but he just held back. We'll probably see it in replay. He just held back, didn't go flat at the ball. Let's have a look at just how he breaks stride. Didn't quite see it. A step or two before that. Break stride. Didn't allow Burns to really pressure him into the contest. And to take really what was a very well-judged chess mark.
Well, one hand too, Lee, running backwards. Well, they're clapping it, and he likes it. So does the goal umpire. He's very important for Adelaide. He just provides that spark and leg speed and sharpness around the forward line. See, well, a good kick from Cook. He just got it high.
Held back just there, just enough to make sure that he didn't get to the ball too early, Bond.
And he's giving Scott Burns a little bit of a touch-up at the moment. I'd imagine Tony Shaw will be watching very closely that match-up. He'll persevere with it for a bit longer, but he wouldn't let it go too much longer.
The Crows up by 7 points. Williams can't get out of the middle.
Drew, something that viewers cannot see. Once you get the ball on the right side of that square, the breeze will carry the ball to the goal square, no doubt about that.
So it is a left to right breeze, is it, Kurs?
Exactly.
Yep. So at Collingwood's back here in the first quarter. Genza, Monkhorst out to Buckley. It's in good hands now. Buckley kicks inside the 50. Watson under a lot of pressure. Rocker back in the direction of Watson. McDonald.
Yes, I don't know whether he picked it up then in the centre. You just saw the hesitation of Bickley. Did he go and attack the ball, or did he run back looking for Buckley? He just has... Normally he'd attack the ball, but he realised Buckley was running behind him, and that hesitation just allowed Buckley to get 2 or 3 metres on him.
Pittman gets it down. Rocker, another touch. Sab's had a lot of the leather in this first quarter, whether in ruck or on the forward line. Mangan's hand pass out to Wright. Good half volley pick up McDonald. Wright. Patterson. He approaches the 50. Can have a shot. Went too far, kicked into Robert, or into the man McLeod. To the goal square. Monkey! Full forward, Monkhorst.
Well, there's something that I think's important. When you're actually a big fella like Monkhorst, you've got to have a stationary body-to-body contest. An old saying, Cornsey, where tall players, tall when it's above his head, when he's going to run for it, he's a slow player. And this was just the body-to-body contest, no movement at all, and he just got out of position, Ren, didn't he? It was well judged by Monkhorst.
I think Monkey with his right hand made sure he got out of position.
And Monkhorst from the goal square gets the goal.
Paddies are arranged from $5.99 plus a chance to win a trip to the Commonwealth Games.
Get amongst the medals with Hardies and Sip and Save. Stanley casks, $10.99, good value.
Western Gold,
Yeah.
$21.99.
Yeah.
What's the brandy? $17.99.
Western Gold, $21.99.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local Sip and Save.
Well, the switcheroo seems to be working. Monkhorst has kicked a goal at full forward, and Sam Rocker's had 8 possessions. That's an incredible ball. Bond's hand pass back to Cook. Around the corner he goes. Patterson clears the defensive 50. Up to centre wing. Crow out position. Punch by Hart. James, good hands. Tyson straight to the line. That's deliberate.
I don't think there's any doubt about that one. He actually knew he was caught cold, Tyson, and he said didn't want to take the risk, so he just straight over the bounce. Let's have a look at this one. He knew what he was doing straight over the line.
Yeah, he didn't disguise it well enough, did he?
Wright takes the free kick. It wobbles and dips, and Buckley is in exactly the right spot for it. Buckley's kick, that doesn't wobble and dip. Look at the ground it covers. Pack mark. Is it paid? No.
It came off Pittman, I think.
Krasiska came down with it. Oh, it is Krasiska.
Oh, David Pittman is furious. I'd love to see this in replay. It looked like Pittman had first hand on it.
Let's have a good look at this one.
Umpire John Harvey, was it?
Well, the umpire had 5 bob each way. He signalled one way, and then the other.
The man who came down with the ball is the one he gave it to. That was simple as that.
Well, I think in the replay you see also that he was in front, had his hands behind it, as did David. David Pittman probably, in viewing that, will say, why didn't I punch?
Yeah. Well, I think at the moment, from what Saverio Rocker, his shots at goal, I think Gavin Krasiska must be just about aiming at the right-hand goal post and letting the Breeze bring the ball back from line. Let's see what he does.
For his second, starts left, comes back, but not enough.
He didn't listen to you, Lee.
Didn't listen. Well, they've had 3 shots at goal, Collingwood, and every one of them has gone from right to left. So I think there's a fair conclusion that that's where the wind is affecting the kick. Let's have a look at it again. difficult decision for the umpire, and really a lot of the times, if the player comes down out of the pack, he's probably going to, more times than not, be paid the mark.
Gavin Brown's ready to resume again.
Well, David Pittman must have walked under a ladder and seen a black cat on his way to this game today. Tyson up to half forward. Bond, a beautiful mover. The hand pass into Cook. Bit of class down on the forward line. Robran. Good tackle, Razzo. Costa back to Tyson. What a first quarter he's had. To the goal square. Disappointing kick though. Shawble. Buckley, he's everywhere.
Ninth kick, just keeps finding the ball.
Half back to half forward. That's gone 70 metres, I reckon. Watson should have taken the mark. He was under a bit of pressure. Hart's hand pass back to McLeod. Wide for Smart. Good mark on the run. Just under 4.5 minutes left to quarter time.
The way a few of those kicks have carried, one would think the breeze might be favouring the Collingwood scoring end. Normally the MCG, it blows around in a circle and doesn't favour any particular end, but a little bit the ball seems to be carrying a little bit to Collingwood's direction.
McLeod just gets his kick in time. Burns in front. Oh, good mark. And play on football. Scores level at the MCG, 21 apiece. Wren appeared to be under the ball, but he's so high he got up to it. Tregenza. His kick short of the 50. Robran the only hope. Sav again! What a quarter! 5 marks.
And both those ruckmen, Wren and Rocker there, it's a great mark from Rocker, but both playing on that back play. And Sav crashing heavily, but nevertheless a good mark.
Playing to kick the kick off the half-back line, these two teams, really, they just can't find three forwards.
Stevens, former North Melbourne player, keeps it low, all Collingwood.
Yes, the delivery from both teams coming into their forward line is not good, Lee.
Got a chance on the rebound here, Collingwood.
Paul Williams with pace to burn. He kicks to centre half forward. Hart gets back, drops the mark. Sweating on him is Wasley, the first gamer. James. Here's Razzo, Frankie. Kick back to half forward. Wren's there again. Monkhorst. A rover wanted for the Pies. Wasley, number 16. Hart across to Stevens. Good chase by Krasiska to deck him. Goodwin. Smart. 3 goals, 3 apiece. Late in the first quarter. To half forward.
This is unbelievable, Lee.
They're just playing kick-to-kick from the half-back lines at the moment.
Oh, the delivery into the forward lines from both teams.
Well, did the best ruckman in the game ever have 6 marks and 10 possessions in 1 quarter?
No, there's no doubt that Severo Rocker can play in the ruck. I've got no doubt about that. Question is, without him in the forward line, can Collingwood kick a winning score? This is the only question I think that has to be answered. Never had any doubt in my time that Collingwood prove that Rocker has been potentially the best ruckman they've had for a number of years.
Gee, that was a poor old kick by Gavin Brown, back on the ground, having had his head patched up. Peter McKenna.
It just proves, Drew, how hard it is to play in full forward and how easy it is to play in the ruck.
Now, Pete, did a coach ever put you in the ruck?
I wouldn't last 2 minutes.
Bickley out to Costa. His left footer close to the boundary line. Vardy almost. Might have been interfered with, no whistle.
One thing that Severo Rocker is doing in the ruck, he's not playing on anybody because he's hanging back on his half-back line. Wren's up the other end. No wonder ruck's got a position to play. You shake hands with your opponent at the centre bounce and say, see you after the game.
I thought those days were gone. They'll be very interested to hear from,
mostly, haven't they?
From Curls just where the wind is going, who is playing the back playing role better.
Patterson wobbles a kick over centre wing. Overrun by Stevens. Hart gets back there with Wasley.
Yeah, Graham, there's no doubt that once you get the ball past the centre, the breeze is definitely favouring right of screen.
That's Collingwood have the breeze at the moment.
Exactly.
Okay, so Rennie's playing that back role a little bit better, you'd suggest.
Well, I don't know if he's playing it better. The other fellow's getting more ball.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, the Crows are probably getting more value out of it, out of him playing back rather than Rocker playing back.
Well, I guess the scores, as you say, scores are level. If Collingwood advantage by the win,
yes,
maybe Adelaide a little bit better. But just at the moment, both half-back lines are, with the aid of the ruckman back there, on top, aren't they?
Ruck free kick to Wren, kicks to half forward, and Shawble takes the mark.
Yeah, good mark too. Just strong body against Matthew Robin there. And Andrew Shawble, he's had so much potential, and I suppose, Lee, They'll be looking for him to really display that full ability.
Yeah, that's true. First played in 1995 and saw him early in the year look very heavy in the thighs because they've been trying to build him up and he didn't run much over the pre-season, but I think he looks a little fitter now as this season's developed.
Goodwin, a great spoil. James, outside of his foot to centre half forward. Razzo wobbles the ball to half forward. Brown one out with Smart. Osborne had a chance to pick it up and take it, but he left it behind.
The other situation that probably is happening with Rocker and Monkhurst having a crack at Wren in the midfield, that maybe the 2-on-1 approach does wear Wren down a little, but I guess with Pittman in the side, they've certainly got a very competent backup ruckman in there, Cordy.
Plus they've got Big Perry on the bench as well, and Downsborough who can ruck.
And the free kick is to Rocker.
Well, I'll guarantee you what, this is 11th possession. He's never had 11 possessions in a quarter before, I'll guarantee you that.
Look at that. What a kick. Seconds left. Can they take a mark? It's offline and out of bounds on the bounce for a throw-in.
Gone 70 metres. Interesting too, the goalposts have been moved around, Drew.
Would have been right through the middle last week.
If you're seeing those different lines painted on the ground simply because the goalposts have been rotated 10 metres.
Siren might beat them. And there it is, quarter time at the MCG. Scores level. An amazing quarter which saw Sav Rocker have 11 possessions. He played in the ruck. He did have 2 shots for goal but kicked 2 behinds. Monkhorst in the meantime played up forward, took a mark, kicked a goal.
Well, I guess there was no doubt they left out all their other big guys from last week, Anthony Rocker, Matthew Francis. So certainly Monkhurst and Sav Rocker were the only 2 ruckmen in the Collingwood team this week. I guess it's a bit of a surprise that Rocker started in the ruck and that he's actually pretty much, he's probably done 20 minutes of that first quarter, Drew.
Adelaide be happy with this, Drew, though. They would not want Collingwood to have blown them away.
3-3 each at quarter time.
Sorry.
It all started with Jim and 2 McDonald's quarter pounders.
And now it's here, McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, with 2 beef patties and 3 slices of cheese. Only McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese is the official burger of the AFL.
Peter Shearer are booting out the bargains during their stock take sale. Save up to 45% on famous brand suits, up to 40% off quality sports coats, trousers up to 30% off, casual jackets up to 55% off, knitwear up to 40% off, casual shirts up to a huge 50% off, and business shirts up to 45% off. The Peter Shearer stock take sale is on now. Miss it and you'll kick yourself.
Right now, PlayStation comes with a new dual-shock controller, and it's still $199, so you'll feel every kick, shock, and crash. If you thought PlayStation was powerful before, prepare for the shock of your life.
PlayStation. 2, 3, 4. Here, you either play music, listen to music, or move to Utah. Billy got kicked out of music school. That's kind of why we hired him. Sometimes daylight seems out of place here, but it does let you get some sleep. There's no better place to be exactly who you are. Drop by sometime. Jack lives here.
Right.
The only way to get to Kangaroo Island when you want to take everything for a do-your-own-thing holiday is with Kangaroo Island Sea-Link. Call 131301 for ferry and accommodation bookings.
Bank SA now makes it possible for you to buy a new home before you sell your existing home, because you won't have to start paying your new mortgage for 6 months. That's 6 months of amazing grace.
Know how to pick up real hardware specials? You grab Home Hardware's new stock run-out sale Dogalog for bargains like this twin-sensor floodlight for only $19.95, and Sally's gap sealant, a bargain at $1.99, or a neat heat 3-in-1 down to $79. And there's loads of in-store specials too, but you'd better get in quick.
Get the know-how
In Home Hardware's stock run-out sale, Dogalog out now.
Right now, PlayStation comes with a new dual shock controller, and it's still $199. So you'll feel every kick, shock, and crash. If you thought PlayStation was powerful before, prepare for the shock of your life.
It's Australia's best-kept secret.
Magnificent.
A tropical paradise that boasts an idyllic climate, beautiful scenery and sensational fishing.
It's a monster.
Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures in Broome for the first time on television, 7:30 tonight on 7.
Dubbed the hot chocolate rapist, in 3 years 22 women have been attacked.
The rapist spikes the drinks with the drug Rohypnol.
This smooth-talking predator must be stopped.
That drug obviously takes away the fight you need.
Australia's Most Wanted Monday.
Scores level at quarter time. It's entertaining, but it bounced from half-back to half-back. 3-3, 21 apiece. The only multiple goal scorer in the game, Troy Bond for the Crows, kicked 2 in the opening quarter. The game at Waverley between Hawthorn and North Melbourne, and at quarter time there, it's North 4-2-26, leading the Hawks 2 goals to 14. There is a third match being played today. It is down at Cardinia Park, where Geelong are playing the Brisbane Lions. Some stations taking a replay of that game after this, so if you don't wish to know the score, look away now. We've got to play a dead face over that, because, you know, card player's face, because we're not going to give anything away. Peter McKenna.
Yes, Drew, and talking about the wind, I agree with Curls. I think that the Crows have got the advantage. They're kicking further to the right of screen and down to the left-hand end that as I'm facing it now. It was very interesting, Drew, watching Sav Rocker. I've always thought at 6'5" and mobile he could make a ruckman. Maybe this is the birth of a new ruckman, because Monkey's getting towards the end of his career. Be interesting to watch him this term.
And Neil Curley for your 5 bobs worth.
Well, Drew, you have to be Einstein. I've been out in the middle of the ground to try and work out which way that wind is actually favouring, but I think it is the Crows' side. Malcolm Blight spent a lot of time with his forwards, and Sean Wren then, I guess, to try and counter the rocker back play, but it's anybody's game at this stage.
All tied up going into the second quarter. Wren with a big charge, it beats Rocker in the ruck. Comes to Buckley. Even on the turn, he kicks 55 metres into the wind. McLeod, the best on the ground in the grand final here last September. Costa got it to James, Wren back to Costa. Good running, McLeod. Gave him an option. Rashudo pushed out, no whistle. Burns and Bond. Bond's kicked 2 already. He's only 25 metres out. That's clever.
Yes, Drew, he is clever. That's the tricky part. And a player like Scotty Burns, who loves to attack the football, is going to be caught out a couple of times, particularly when the ball bounces over the top now. Bond running onto it.
I like the way he came back inside and just opened up the goals. He might have been tempted just to keep going and come back on the left side, Cornsey, but it was a good finish, wasn't it?
And you saw Scotty Burns throw his head back. He doesn't deserve to have goals kicked on him, but he's had 3 thus far, and it's going to be a critical match-up now for Tony Shaw.
They've just swapped the match-up. In fact, Razzo over onto Bond and Burns onto Cook.
Well, Burns is entitled to be a little bit rusty. He's been out for a month on suspension. Rocker got a boot to that one. Got it up short of half forward. Williams tackled when Adelaide player did not have the ball. Free kick to Bickley.
Only one change on the interchange, boys, from the start. We have Patterson on from Kinnear off.
Well, Razzo's just gone across to Bond and straight away outmarks him. Pops it wide for Buckley. He's unmarked on centre wing. Can draw a man and go past and get it back. Gavin Krasisco. To centre half forward, all Adelaide. Oh, the ball wobbled in the air. Wren couldn't get to it. Down goes Wosley.
One of the situations back there, Cornsey, I'd say Nigel Smart well on top of Gavin Brown in that key defensive, getting a lot of possession. Smart giving good rebound out of there as well.
James Wosley, welcome to AFL footy. Nigel Smart let him know about it in that tackle.
Remarkable that he's played just a game and a half in the reserves. He's only football for about 8 months. Tregenza's kick round the corner. Buckley takes the mark.
Good mark, Drew. That was a very, very good mark.
And Monkhurst in the goal square saying, kick it long, drop it on me head, see if I can outbody Pittman.
He's got a chance here. Tapped on by Wosley, but chopped off by Goodwin. Goodwin towards the southern stand side. Patterson gives chase, and I think Sav gave up.
And I think it's well thought out what Collingwood are going to try and do with Monkhurst. Is say to Monkhurst, I mentioned it before, don't try and lead like a conventional full forward, but actually stand in the goal square and we'll try and drop it on your head and we'll get our ground level players. If you can't mark it, at least the contest should come in tight, and they're not going to be looking for leads, but looking to get the ball to that part of the ground.
And what a target that head is. I mean, for a fearsome look, Spider Everett's gone the dreadlocks, and Monkey's gone totally the other way. Patterson. Here's Wren. Oh, clean ball at the back, Rocker. Just gets the hand pass away. It floats out of bounds.
I think at the moment Sean Wren's just been reminded that an oval ball can bounce anywhere once it hits the turf.
That's why our game is so difficult. People underestimate the skill required, and umpiring interpretation then perhaps the correct one. Just allowed Rocker that fraction of time to dispose of the ball. He doesn't return the favour then by thumping it back out of bounds. In this day and age, Lee, when the clock stops, when the ball goes over the boundary line, you wonder at the sensibility of such tactics.
I guess you make sure the opposition don't get it. That's the advantage, isn't it? At least we start again from a drawn position at a boundary throw-in.
Crows by 6 points. Ran this time, but he runs into a tackle of Patterson and Rocker.
Hey, Lee and Graham, keep your eye on the Buckley situation. It looks like there's a plan. Bickley's playing on the attack side, or on the defensive side, to prevent him getting through and running forward.
Not stopped him getting the ball. He's had 13 possessions already. At this rate, he'll get his normal 40.
Yeah, he's had an amazing season. He's averaging 29.8, but he did have 43 possessions last week, Nathan Buckley. And he's having a real race with Robert Harvey for the leading possession winner in the competition.
It looks like Malcolm Blighter decided to give him the ball on the defensive back half, but not allow him to break through and be an attacking player.
Just make sure he's not a goal kicker. No chance of being a goal kicker, but let him get the ball back with the centre curls.
That's right.
Wren beats Monkhorst. Here's Buckley. Hand pass straight to his opponent, Bickley, who had no option but to walk it over. Buckley and Bickley. I might be calling for refreshments by half-time. Hey, Macca?
Yes, Drew, Matthew Robin's been pushed out of it very easily by Shawble. He's been sent to full forward. Mark Rasciuto's come out to centre forward.
Kim Costa just behind the wing. Rasciuto at the back.
The advantage was played and everyone waited for the whistle again.
Punched down to the front by Downsborough. Comes to Burns. Hurried kick out of defence. Might be all right for the Crows here yet. Bickley concedes some ground. James. And the ball's out of bounds. Down near the 50.
And the wind obviously affecting the player's disposal.
Yeah, just every time you kick the ball, it's not only that wind can actually blow it from hand to foot, even then that maybe 6 inches from hand to foot, and therefore it's not only once it's in flight does the wind affect the ball.
Well, Nathan Buckley playing the role of ruckman on that occasion and got a free kick for one round the neck. Centres the ball again to Mangan, who had 3 years at Sydney without getting a senior game, making his debut today for Collingwood. Off to Osborne. Kick by Osborne. Rocker caught behind, but takes a mark.
Gee, that's a good mark. I'd like to see what was happening in the contest before the ball got there.
He was going to ground Pittman, wasn't he? He was in the front position, but being forced forward.
Yeah, there's all sorts going on there.
Oh, well, I guess if the umpire saw what we saw, he may well have thought that there was interference, but in the hurly-burly close to the action, again, the player who came down with the ball was allowed the mark.
But if it was a fullback doing that to the full forward gets the free kick. The full forward does it to the fullback.
Yes.
Play on. It's just one of the iniquities of
expectation
of football.
Well, for Pittman, it might be the black cat, the ladder, the full moon, the whole lot.
Well, this is his third shot, Rocker. It's about time he put one through. It's been a frustrating time.
Right in front, 40 metres out. That's his first.
Tonight, from the producers of the acclaimed Savage Skies, comes a groundbreaking new look at earthquakes.
And the house moved.
That he even got out is a miracle.
Savage Earth, presented by the world around us. 6:30 tonight on 7. Jeffrey Rush, in his Academy Award-winning performance, is the extraordinary.
David Helfgott.
If you do something wrong, you can be punished for the rest of your life.
The outstanding network premiere, coming soon to Channel 7 Shine.
Back in the middle, and the score's level once again. A goal each in this second quarter. Overrun by Tregenza. Williams lifting, putting it out in front of Buckley. And Buckley gets another free kick for one over the shoulder.
Well, Tony Shaw was a bit upset about the umpiring last week. I think rightly so. Collingwood didn't get the 50-50s, but I must say early in the game, I think Cornsey, they're probably getting those half decisions their way. Head over the ball, slightly high tackle, but really very incidental.
When there was a worry in Adelaide that there would be a bit of an overreaction to Collingwood's complaints. That's a magnificent kick.
It gets... Oh, Wren just got a fingernail to it right on the line. And Buckley was outside 50. Might have been a bit of protection from the wind down there, but a mighty kick.
Well, have a look at the free kick here. I mean, it's just... Oh, dear me, does Buckley go into it? There's no grab.
There was some contact.
As we speak to.
But they're the half ones. I don't think anyone could say it wasn't a free kick. About half the time they would be allowed to play on.
Ian Perry has come onto the full forward line too for Adelaide as that was happening. So his first opportunity in AFL footy for the 18-year-old.
And this is Stuart Mangan getting a kick to the forward line. Ball pinned to Russell.
Well, I reckon the game's going too bad for Collingwood, Cornsey. Just in that general look at the big picture, I don't think the Adelaide forward line is looking at all dangerous. It's just a question. Looks like a low-scoring game coming up, and just who can, 12 goals might just be enough to win the game if it continues with this fashion.
Well, Adelaide would be happy they haven't been blown away in the first quarter, which they have been previously by Collingwood, though.
Rashudo, beautiful hand pass to Bickley. Bickley's kick to centre-half forward.
Young Ian Perry, welcome to AFL footy.
Out of defence by Godden. His first game of Worsley. Back to Patterson. Patterson's kick wobbles straight to Bickley.
Geez, a lot of poor disposal. We know that the wind's there, and that's the excuse, but certainly can't find targets for players.
Rashudo with penetration. Robrin. Bond for his fourth. Great hands, running away from goal. Now gets a side of them and snaps back to goal. Another one.
When Mr. Bean goes back to school, the judo class is a lot of fun. The chemistry lab's a real blast. But meeting new friends can be a terrible shock. Mr. Bean at 6:30, then at 7. Saving cash the Soul Man way.
What if we ordered smaller communion wafers? Just as much Jesus, half the calories.
An all-new Soul Man, Sunday at 7. Plus, play for paradise with Coca-Cola for your chance to win one of 8 holiday homes. Sunday at 7.
Well, what a couple of days it's been for the smaller goal kickers. Peter Matera last night kicked 7 to lead the Eagles to victory here at the MCG, and Bond so far has had 4 kicks, 4 goals. Godden out of the middle for the Pies. Rocker at full forward. Pittman's gone with him to Smart. Nigel Smart floats it over the top. Stevens. Centre wing Rashudo. Oh, that's another shocking bounce. The vagaries of the shape of the ball. Prestigiacomo. Bounces on past Stevens. Smart met it straight on.
He's playing sensationally in this second quarter.
Kick by Smart to centre-half forward. Robert. And it might get there. Took a cruel bounce. And a behind.
Giving plenty of run from out there. And I think Gavin Brown is in there partly because of his defensive ability as a forward. And just at the moment, Nigel Smart is able to provide that bounce off the half-back line. So just at the moment, I think Tony Shaw would just be asking himself the question about Gavin Brown. Where was his best value to the side at this point of the match?
Nigel Smart, 10 possessions so far, and he's just looking so dangerously.
Gavin Brown, 3. Here's Graham Wright. He's been a little bit quiet. He's had just 4 so far. Already Tony Francis has felt the wrath of the selection committee. Not suggesting that Wright is facing the axe, but he's been around a long time, Lee.
Yeah, I think he's had a reasonable year without being outstanding, just reasonable.
Osborne. To the attacking 50. Goodwin might have dropped his head just at the last minute, and just as well he dropped his head then. Otherwise, Sam would have dropped it for him.
No, good shepherd, James Tyson.
Stevens round the boundary line to Vardy. Half distance pass to Bond. This time a long way up the ground near centre wing.
Play back inside, wouldn't he? Just get the ball on quickly, but he's taking his time. The chip round the boundary. I don't think they're going to be able to chip a lot to set up scoring opportunities. I think you just got to get the ball in quickly and really just let the confusion do its job down there.
Vardy goes longer to the goal square. Oh, Robin!
Beautifully played.
Good play by Robin, but I'm not sure what Shawble was doing, Cornsey. The old saying, if your defender, if your forward flies, you've got to be up there as well. And Shawble, just have a look at this. Shawble maybe just get caught out of position, a little bit unlucky, but great judgment by Robin.
Yes, I mean, you want your full back to be between the full forward and the goals, or he certainly wasn't then.
And Robin gives the Crows a 2-goal lead.
When you've got a job to do, the best way to get 10 out of 10 results is teamwork. That's why with help from the teams at Mitre 10 at Wattle, you'll not only be a winner, you'll also be helping to support South Australia's favourite sons, the Adelaide Crows.
Good luck, Daddy.
And that's gotta feel good.
Mitre 10 out of 10 every time.
Tony Shaw's made a change. Watson off. Crow comes on. Clean sheet for Watson. Didn't have a touch. 40-28, the Crows lead. Monkhorst in the middle. Bickley's kick smothered.
Simon Goodwin has been on Shane Watson and has done a pretty good job, actually.
The score so far is Bickley 8 possessions and Buckley 15.
Don't think the contest will be judged purely on those statistics, though, Drew. I think Blighty's happy to concede Buckley getting a fair bit of the ball.
Well, it was interesting that Stan Al said last week that he didn't really think Buckley hurt them, and he had 43.
Would he have said that had they lost?
Yeah. Vardy beats a tackle of Osborne. Robin again. And then goes in to apply the tackle on Razzo. Bond's in the area. Costa goes back to Vardy. 40 metres out on the boundary line. Has a look at them. And have a look at this.
Oh, that's sensational. That is magnificent. Peter Vardy, here's a goal kicker. He's got good leg speed. He's got good power in his legs. But there's no way known he would have had a good look at that goal.
He has just got a superb kicking action, hasn't he? I mean, that was you need a bit of luck with a win like this from that boundary line, but he is just a beautifully balanced kick. Peter McKenna, you saw the ball on its flight. It was a great kick.
Oh, look, when you're sitting where I am, you just didn't realise anywhere else how good a kick that was. That was a needle-eye opening, and he meant it too. He had a shot.
Oh, pretty important break too for Adelaide now. They've gone out to 3 goals.
Yes, it's 4 goals to 1 in this second quarter. And here they come again. Prosciutto fights hard with Prestigiacomo, but the Collingwood defender wins that battle. Buckley getting back. Does get an enormous amount of the ball and delivers. Rocker, it's out.
He did well though. He almost kept it in. He has such awareness for a big man, Lee.
Gavin Brown has actually been interchanged. Well, actually, we were saying Smart was doing a good job, which he was, but did get a very heavy knock in that first term, Gavin Brown. Probably still a bit wonky.
Yeah, probably got a decent headache. Pittman clearing kick. Buckley! Just about with his back to the ball. I saw Darryl White take one of those last week. Wasn't even watching the ball. McDonald for Collingwood. Outside the 50. Goes further out to Crow. Krasiska. Had to take the mark. And they sweep it away. Wren. Vardy. Free kick, Vardy.
Yes, Adelaide have definitely clicked up a notch at the moment.
Yes, the game's at a dangerous stage for Collingwood, isn't it? The goals aren't going to be easy to come by, and 3-goal margin is already stiff. If they get another goal or two, Adelaide, it becomes very quickly almost irretrievable.
Curran on for the first game of Worsley. And Worsley's introduction to AFL football gave him 1 hand pass. To the 50, Osborne takes the mark. Well, It's looking pretty ominous for Collingwood already, who've won just 1 out of their last 6. And that was a lucky, narrow one against Fremantle at Victoria Park. Krasiska across the ground. Rocker. Sav, good kick. He hasn't kicked at the goals too well. Well, it didn't hit the target again. It bounced away from Burns.
So the rebound becomes really critical.
McLeod, beautiful to Tyson. He swerves around Rocker and bends it back for a goal. Oh, just hit the post.
Well, he is gaining in confidence every game, James Tyson. He's got good sideways movement. You'll see him get around the player here.
It was good balance, wasn't it? Inside the way he just went from outside in.
And he sees the goals. He says, I'll have a shot at this, but looks like the wind's just grabbed it. But nevertheless, Adelaide very much in control, and Collingwood need to just put their foot on the brake for a little while.
Graham, but no doubt if they clamp down on Buckley and Rocker, they're in trouble, Collingwood.
They're in trouble now, of course, I think.
Now, there's been a lot of speculation, Lee, and a bit of heat on Tony Shaw. If they lose today badly, is there any more heat on him tonight?
Oh, well, Louis is long term, not for the season. I don't think there's any chance that anything's going to happen to Collingwood this year, but I guess Shaw is in his 3rd year of coaching. If the team doesn't make the finals, you know, in those 3 years, then all of a sudden you are under pressure, I think, Cornsey, just by nature of the win-loss ratio and the statistics.
You're under pressure every week, though.
Yeah, that's true.
The more games you go without winning,
but I think the footy
under.
season is largely about keeping your hopes alive. Yes. Like the grand finalists can keep their hopes alive until grand final day, and we feed the free to Scott Russell, and that's what the season's all about. And Collingwood's hopes certainly won't be dead should the result go against them today, but the percentages are really starting to get difficult.
And Russell's kick. Down went Krasiska. Collingwood fans want a free kick. Mind you, there aren't that many Collingwood fans here today. Lots of vacant spaces here at the MCG. Cook. Out wide to Rashudo. Back to Cook. Into Bond. Razzo, who was moved on to Bond after he kicked his first 3. Now he's got 4. Schauble, no, not too good off the left hand.
Yeah, right there. It worked out okay.
Rocker to Williams. Well done, Crow. Giving them a good run. Now, centre of the ground, there's something. Russell has got Williams further in. Russell cornered here by James, a former teammate. Honkhorst. Stevens got back there to fill a hole and almost filled in Monkey.
That was courageous by Stevens.
It was. Wren. Robrin. Now Schauble left a mile behind.
And look at Andrew McLeod still going into space. He's ran from one end of the field, but don't think he'll get used, but certainly good disposal then by Wren.
And the thing about Robrin is he knows how to lead. He's got excellent timing, and Andrew Schauble doesn't look all that comfortable at fullback.
Yeah, he looks more comfortable at centre-half back, doesn't he, than on that lead that the standard full-forward play.
Robrin knows he can kick the distance.
51 metres out, across the face. Still there. Godden, oh, this is crucial. Intercept, Rashudo, and he missed it from about 10 metres.
It's that first grab. If you don't take it first time, and just watch Luke Godden in the replay, if you don't take it cleanly first time at this level, you have no time.
It's a tough ball, Coons, isn't it? When the thing's bouncing, that oval ball bouncing everywhere today at the front of the defensive goal square, you can't get a more pressurised situation than that one.
The way the ball's bounced today, right angles back over blokes' heads, it's almost as though they're pumped up too much.
Well, the umpires are not scared to do that, just so it bounces nicely for them.
Oh, did that have to be a good kick? And it was.
That's what happens, eh?
The umpires will often come in and grab the balls and insist that they are inflated more so that it bounces nicely at the centre bounce. And you often see a situation where the skills of the game are affected by the overinflation of the football.
Particularly on a windy day where it really will float. Obviously, the more air in the ball, the tighter it is, the more the wind will enable it to float.
Actually, I have heard that one before, Cornsey, that the umpires were insisting on very hard balls so that their bounces looked attractive.
Yeah,
so they really believe people come to watch them bounce the ball.
It is an absolute disgrace, but we have to be. We don't know the circumstances today, but we've often seen them insist that the ball gets more air put in it.
It's good.
Schauble's been
used
moved.
Then by, I think he's just actually came up the ground very quickly. Maybe he's been moved, or maybe he's just ran off the half-back line, which I think he may have done, Drew. but just that ability is where they've gained about, what, 7 or 8 metres, Collingwood, but sure will. Now, Buckley couldn't quite reach it from just outside the 50-metre line, so this will be a testing kick. But that extra 2 or 3 metres less will enable most players to kick the distance.
Oh, it comes back beautifully for a goal.
Cartons of hard ice, $26.99.
Have a Bundy good time.
$22.99. Wow, Johnny Walker Red Label, only $25.99. Southern Comfort, 700ml bourbon. How much is that this week, Mike? $27.99. And you can also win this fantastic TV package, compliments of Sip and Save and Southern Comfort.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local Sip and Save.
And he trots off back to full-back now.
Bounce in the centre from umpire John Harvey. Bickley gets the kick out of the centre circle. One-handed pick up Rashudo. Met solidly by Brown. Rashudo fights on.
Good tackling.
Now Russell for Collingwood. 48 plays 34. Adelaide in front. Gavin Brown back on for Crow. McDonald's hand pass taken by Smart. Stevens clears. Tackled by Cook. The ball comes to Burns though. Burns fights on with a second effort good. James. And James wrapped up in the tackle by Curran.
I think Gavin Brown's been put into the midfield. I think Collingwood feel they just need a bit more of the ball from out of there.
It's a very interesting stage of the game now because only 2 goals the difference. Collingwood get the next one and they're right back in it.
Rodman wins the hit. Burns fumbles. Costa well played. And there's your man, the little rock.
It's an interesting situation there. The forward team have to try and keep the ball alive and just hope something will set up. Defensive team probably won't just draw the pack situation without the risk, of course, of being free kick for holding the ball. So there's a really delicate issue in those contests in those forward 50-metre areas.
Late in the first half, and the Crows have the advantage up. The scores have been tied at quarter time.
It was a good tackle from Stephen Patterson. He's saying, why not a free kick? But I think that's the spirit of the law. The player with the ball must have some opportunity to dispose of it.
Certainly a different law in June than it was back in April.
You are right there.
Yep, Sean Wren, eh?
Yeah.
Rashudo. Kicking half to goal from there. Well, kicks that distance. It's 5 kicks to goal. Eccles, not a great hand pass. It didn't reach James. James recovers. Oh, poor handling.
You think someone might kick it in a minute?
Let's hope so. Well, Buckley kicked it, but not one of his best. Comes to Rashudo. Brown blocks the hand pass. Ball up.
Fellas, just for information, 6 interchange at this stage this quarter to Collingwood, 2 to the Crows.
Gavin Brown's courage going back for that mark, Lee. I don't know whether you were watching it then.
Yep.
Didn't take it.
It's normal for Gavin Brown. You don't even take notice of it anymore, I think, because it's just the way he plays.
Trying to find a combination. Collingwood, 7 changes during the week, 6 in 1 quarter today. Nice mark, Goodwin.
I think you saw Wosley then. He knew that Rock would be coming in. He didn't really know whether to go for the mark or what to do. And Goodwin was just said, oh, well, the ball's in the air and I'll try and mark it.
Wren drops it, leaves it for Monkhorst. There's no forwards at all. Wosley the only man inside 50 for Collingwood. Goodwin with him. Well, Goodwin did the best thing then.
A young fella like Wosley playing his first game. It is difficult when you're playing forward because really you're not sure whether to go for the ball because you just got that little bit of a feel of getting it in the road of the experienced players.
Exactly.
And I think if you can get the ball, you've got to get it.
That's right. Well, he's already cleaned up his captain, Gavin Brown. He doesn't want any more mistakes. Ball's outside the 50. Cook. Oh, another bad bounce. Straight to Burns.
Oh, hello.
Free kick to Burns. Not happy, Cornsey?
Well, I thought the fend-off was a bit high on Cook initially, but the umpire is closer, Drew.
Cook and Burns, that reminds me of myself in the kitchen.
Collingwood definitely lifted, though.
Monkhorst is there. Buckley as well. Well, Wren beats them all.
That was a dangerous ball, wasn't it? Well done then by Wren.
Stevens out of defence. The last minute of the first half. Costa beaten. It comes to Godden. Krasiska. Russell. That's good. He's got a chance, Gavin Brown. 50 metres out. It looks all right. Just offline.
Well, yes, Gavin Brown, whenever has a shot for goal, I'm afraid, Gavin, it's as if I prefer to give the ball to somebody else. I mean, he had the shot from 50 metres, but never really drives the kick, tends to just always pull them a little bit.
Goodwin. Brown getting back to centre wing. Collingwood desperate to get another one before half-time. There's 28 seconds left. And if the Crows get another one, that'll be a huge lift for them going into the long break.
Yes, the psychology of late goals are very important, aren't they, Cornsey? If you can go to the break, having kicked the last goal, it's amazing the positive psychology it brings to the team.
But apart from that, I think the next goal in this game, whenever it's kicked, is going to have a very important impact on the game. It either takes the Crows 3 goals clear or brings Collingwood back to 1 goal. So whether it's now or after half-time, it will be important.
Ball flips here to Curran. The siren beats them as they get the ball to the attacking 50, and that is half-time at the MCG. Been a low-scoring game, plenty of mistakes on a breezy day with the ball floating and bouncing it off angles, and Adelaide leads 7-6 to 5 goals 5. Malcolm Blight stays in the coach's box for a little while to soak it up there with Terry Moore.
I don't think either coach would be happy, though, Lee, at this stage.
No, we've got to be happy with the lead, I guess, from Adelaide's point of view. But, yeah, it's just a scrappy game. The conditions are going to make it that way anyway. Just a really swirly breeze at the MCG. So I think the Crows just be pretty happy that Troy Bond's been able to crumb those 4 goals. Very important goals.
It's the old philosophy, if you get it down there often enough, somebody's going to score the goals. And one day, one of those little forwards are going to have a big day out like Troy Bond is at the moment.
Well, Bond has kicked 4 goals. And the Crows have kicked 7 goals 6 for a 13-point lead at half-time here at the MCG. It's Adelaide, who have never beaten Collingwood in Melbourne, 7-6, Collingwood 5-5.
This 7 News Update is brought to you by Colonial.
Good afternoon. Hope you're enjoying our AFL action from the MCG. Of course, all the footy highlights for you at 6. Also in the news, a major gas explosion averted as an LPG road tanker goes out of control into a boggy potato paddock. A smash and grab jewellery heist at a busy suburban shopping centre. And Prince William squares off with the paparazzi. Those stories at 6 in 7 Nightly News.
Nobody knows news like 7.
You can get it talking. You can get it walking. You can feel it coming on about 4. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter. You can get it lifted. You can get it shifted. You can get it any old how. Matter of fact, I got it now. Vic Bitter.
You keep coming back.
Panasonic. You'll keep coming back to Keith Bowden Electrical.
Panasonic's slim profile design, stereo surround sound and extra large King picture screen. For Panasonic stereo television, it's the one that you will want.
It really has to be Keith Bowden for Panasonic.
Keith Bowden Electrical.
You keep coming back.
South Road, St Mary's.
Triple M gets unleashed in the 70s with another album of non-stop rock.
You know the last thing I'd have said,
32 great rock songs from the 70s on 2 CDs. Cram full of 70s rock. Triple M unleashed in the 70s. I dig it. Strength. Up and at him.
Now's the time to get Corad ready for work.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The yellow pages are closing now. Call 132378.
Just how complete is your home loan? Does it give you a low rate of 5.99% per annum, guaranteed for the first year to get you off to a good start? Nope. Does it let you redraw your extra repayments if you get sick or lose your job? Perhaps not.
My home loan does all those things because it's from the bank.
On Today Tonight, a public hospital disgrace.
It's a real tragedy.
Rooms flooded with water.
Totally unacceptable.
Garbage everywhere, cigarette butts on the floor.
It's absolutely disgusting.
And full pans left lying around.
I've never seen that in a hospital before.
You must see Today Tonight's undercover investigation.
Plus, developing photos.
The quality's very good.
The same film, the same shots sent to Adelaide studios and 1 Hour Labs.
Depends on what you're looking for.
We test the best value for money. Next week on Today Tonight.
At a grey and windy MCG, scores were level at quarter time, but Adelaide kicked 4 goals to 2 in that second term and lead 7-6-48 to 5 goals 5-35. The only multiple goal scorer on the ground has been Bond of Adelaide, and Troy Bond has kicked 4 goals from his 5 kicks. All the rest have come in singles. Monkhorst went forward, took a mark and kicked a goal. Sav Rock has been in the ruck. He's had a lot of the ball and he's kicked just 1 goal to half-time. But Collingwood will be needing to lift in the second half, and I think Tony Shaw will be having plenty to say. But, well, Malcolm Blight wouldn't be all that delighted, I suppose, but you can make excuses because of the conditions. Well, there's a game being played at Cardinia Park today between Geelong and the Brisbane Lions. The Lions trying to get off the bottom bracket of the ladder after their draw last week. Let's take a look at some highlights of the first half.
This kick is short down to Hocking. He's recovered from that knock. Kennedy overruns it. Chance for Hall. Minch sets it up with the handball. Scholl, shot at goal. First blood to the Cats. Good winter weather today. Robbins. McRae. Around Lowther. Long left footer. Pretty good sort of a shot.
Back to where it came from, right to the top of the square. Raleigh couldn't take the mark. Lepage comes back at it again. McKinnon right there. Lepage drags it around. Oh, what a great goal, Justin. One step kick, a high one. It's all Cats. Hocking drops the mark. Picked up by McRae on his right foot. Natural left footer. He's pinged that. That is not bad on the right from 50 out. I'll give you the drum.
Picked up by Snell. Barnes, great mark, 25 metres out. Should be able to reduce the deficit pretty quickly early in the second term. Barnes directly in front. Crowd tells us he's got the goal. Scotty Bamford, third in Fitzroy's best and fairest 3 years ago. Hasn't put on any weight since then, I'd suggest. His kicking's okay. That's a great kick.
But the ball's not going to get there because the Lions through Bamford and Ackermanis, who's run a couple of times long and hard on this side of the ground today, kicks into full forward. Scott couldn't take it. Chris Johnson hits him on the chest and he kicks it out of the park.
Well, he really laid into it. Oh, what a mark to Bizzle. Difficult shot, runs around, onto the left, kicks it and kicks Torgia to goal.
Now down to 20 points the difference. Here they come again with Ackermanis looking to turn it back. Woolno's been very good since coming off the bench to Minch, to Hocking. Put down the glasses. Put it home, Gary. He does.
Now, some stations taking a replay of that game after this live telecast from the MCG. So if you don't want to spoil it and you don't want to know the halftime score, look away now. Now, there's a wonderful book on the market. You can get it around the country in all bookstores. It is called The Clubs, and it tells the story of each VFL/AFL club, the old ones and the new ones. Hundreds of photos, club news. It pays tribute to the men who have made the game Aussie rules the great game that it is. $49.95 and available where all good books are sold. That's a beauty. The Clubs. Be on the lookout for that. We'll be back at the MCG after a short break.
With the girl.
Golden Globe winner Chris O'Donnell and Oscar nominee Minnie Driver.
It's indecent. Let the fall out.
In the heartwarming network premiere.
I love you.
Circle of Friends, Sunday 8:30 on 7.
Mitre 10 out of 10.
For 10 out of 10 results, the best gardening team around is Yates and Mitre 10. And when you buy Yates products like these Tuscan pots, designed by nurserymen for healthy growth, Or Yates potting mix with Dynamic Lifter, full of nutrients to make things grow big and strong. You'll be helping to support South Australia's favourite sons, the Adelaide Crows.
10 out of 10 every time.
Don't miss out on your free sheet of endangered animal stickers inside this weekend's Sunday Mail. Then complete your album by presenting the advertiser's sticker coupons to your local newsagent. Sticker sheets are 50 cents, with part proceeds going to the World Wildlife Fund. But be quick before they all disappear.
Macleay's Collingwood Street, Brompton is now open Sundays 11 to 4. Hundreds of rolls of carpets discounted up to half price. Part rolls, remnants even less. New stock, twist, plush and corded up to half price. Vinyl full rolls and remnants ready for immediate delivery up to half price and better. All stock rugs and runners discounted to sell. Top quality traditional designs and colours. For stock carpet, vinyl half price or better, immediate delivery. Buy now. Macleay's Collingwood Street now open Sundays.
Adelaide's Leather Revolution happening right now. Every lounge, full grain leather all over. Without doubt, the very best value money can buy. And at the lowest price, or it's free. Only at Discount Lounge Centre Superstore, 23 Anzac Highway, Keswick.
Hello world, let's talk about people who share the pride of doing a job well all over this great country of ours. Thousands of mechanics, people who change their oil themselves, trust Valvoline. You know what I mean.
Strength. Up and at him.
Now's the time to get your ad ready for work.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
The yellow pages are closing now. Call 132378.
Monday, 9:40.
I'd say we have a vigilante on our hands.
A comic book superhero comes to life.
Who slays evil creatures with a broadsword.
And Sam comes face to face with Jill.
You'd just love to look inside my head, wouldn't you?
Profiler, Monday on 7.
The heat's really being turned up on Port Adelaide. After last week's disappointing draw, can they turn it all around and triumph over those snappy Western Bulldogs at Football Park? Find out 9 o'clock tonight, right after Footy Plus pre-match.
When old enemies return,
Better go show 'em what's what then, eh?
an undercover Alf gets in over his head.
One of my officers has been abducted.
It's British drama at its best.
Face it.
Heartbeat, Monday 8:30 on Channel 7.
And at half-time at the MCG, the Crows lead by 13 points over Collingwood at 7-6 to 5-5. Hawthorn and North Melbourne are doing battle out at Waverley. It's half-time there as well. Some highlights of the first half.
He's improved his kicking over the last couple of years, but this will test him. Kicks from the 50. And look at the trajectory on that. And a goal. No, yes. Lord's got it. Chandler gets the free kick. Robran and Hewitt. Punch came from the Hawk defender. Roberts can use Abraham inside the centre square. He'll kick it very long. That is a long kick by Abraham. What a bomb. Bell was pushed in the back, but still got it off to Harvey. McKernan coming out, takes the mark at 55. By hand to Roberts, who's also a long kick. 52 metres, heads for him, and there's another one. Over the top, taken by Kapler. He can kick long and does. Up towards the goal square. Dunstall at the back. Almost taken by Lord. Kicks a goal. Salmon doing very well. Off to Harford. Harford's long kick towards half forward. Holland! What a climb! It's not a bad kick. It's home. It's a very good kick. Dutchy Holland caps off.
And we thought it was windy here at the MCG. Did you see that ball moving around? And at half-time, it's North by a point. 8-3 to Hawthorn, 7-8. The Hawks are bottom of the ladder, but they're just competitive week in and week out. They're playing well, but they're still battling for the points out there at Waverley. Now, Mitsubishi moment. Cast your minds back a few years. Paul Salmon was going to kick 100 goals in a season until Jeff Rains went across his knee.
Salmon is down at centre field.
Salmon Downey hasn't moved from it for a while. Beatty's really stunned down there.
He was 19 years old and the biggest thing in football. And for Paul Salmon, who was the leading goal kicker in the league after 13 rounds, his footy career came to a thudding halt.
I took a couple of steps and kicked, and then Jeff had come through from my blind side. I didn't even see him. And all I remember is my leg scissoring around him and the knee just going all jelly-like, quite painful. And getting carried off and receiving the warm applause of the Collingwood faithful.
The injury may well have cost the Fish the chance of becoming the only player to win the Brownlow Coleman medal double, and would sideline him for a year. He would return and play more than 250 games and kick over 500 goals. Paul Salmon, another Mitsubishi memorable moment.
And of course the Fish is now at Hawthorn and won the best and fairest there in his first 2 years with the club. We'll take another short break from the MCG and be back for the second half in a moment.
Sunday, there's something strange going down.
Oh my God!
Larry Roll. Everyone's feeling frisky.
Did you ever get any action in here?
You mean with somebody? At 7:30, look who's kissing who.
Morning, Borland residents.
Wrong number, bye-bye. Who was it?
Sounded like one of the Muppets.
All new Home Improvement. 10 and 8.
Does this smell bad to you?
He's going the full Monty.
Kitty saw me naked.
She's going insane.
He must be driving you nuts. Please don't say nuts.
Dahmer and Greg, Sunday on 7.
Hi. Listen, I'm really sorry about what happened. Is there anything I can do to help get your car back on the road?
Well, with Amy, they're taking care of everything.
Quotes?
Done.
Repairs?
Done.
Good quality?
Guaranteed for the life of the car, even if I sell it.
Oh, wow. Well, I guess you don't need me then. Have a nice day.
A free service that takes care of all your post-crash running around. Call Amy now.
You're with Amy.
Wherever I go, whatever I do, I know in my heart I'll never be far apart from you. Though the years roll by, you'll see me through and be with me all my life, whatever I do.
Don't miss out on your free sheet of endangered animal stickers inside this weekend's Sunday Mail. Then complete your album by presenting the advertiser's sticker coupons to your local newsagent. Sticker sheets are 50 cents, with part proceeds going to the World Wildlife Fund. But be quick before they all disappear.
All the best names come from the Myer Centre.
100% Australian grain-fed beef, slow-cooked in a unique process, then seared on the char grill. For the best steak in town, it's Hog's Breath Prime Rib. A different style for every day of the week. Hog's Breath Prime Rib, the best a steak can get.
Ford has announced the Falcon Runout is on, with huge factory bonuses on all 98 Falcons, saving you thousands on GLIs, XRs, Futuras and Fairmonts. Plus Sapphires with air, alloys, cruise control and electric windows at no cost. Falcon Runout. Huge factory bonuses and end-of-model savings on all 98 Falcons. Now's the time to buy before Australia's biggest new car launch. The half-year clearance. See your Ford dealer today.
This will be the biggest betting sale in the Cornew's 140 years.
The Cornew's betting sale is bigger than we ever imagined. Come inside, I'll show you why. Look at the bargain hunters. It's no wonder. Look at the prices.
Futon beds only $279. Queen size anti-allergy ensembles save $280. Adriatic Dream Delight bed sets save $300.
Hundreds of people have already saved up to 50% on their mattresses. More ensembles, $199, and mattresses for $22. This is Le Cornew's biggest ever betting sale. How big is it? It's big.
Half-time is over. Now from the home of football, it's the third quarter between Collingwood and Adelaide.
And welcome back to the MCG. A 13-point lead to the Crows here at half-time. And plenty to play for in a windy second half. Now, talking Peter McKenna out in the southern stand. Pete, Difficult days to mark?
Well, it's very, very difficult. It's got colder, Drew. I bet you'll love it up in that warm commentary box. But it is getting very cold and even more gusty than it was before. That wind's really come up. So it's going to be a huge quarter as far as Collingwood are concerned. They really need to get back into this game. They have to try and crash through that half-back line of the Adelaide Crows, where McLeod, Goodwin and Smart, particularly Nigel Smart, one of the best games I've seen him play. Absolutely fantastic. And Redden getting back across that half-back line, getting in the way, as he does, because he reads the ball so well. So it's a cross half forward. Collingwood have to come good there. Somehow Gavin Brown or someone has to stand up if they're to win this game.
Thanks, Pete. And let's take a look at the stats from the first half. And one of them that we might notice in team stats is free kicks. Collingwood 11-5, Cornsey.
Well, I said there was some concern in Adelaide that Collingwood's complaint to the AFL about their treatment last week may have some sort of backlash. Now, I don't know whether the statistics tell the story, but there's been a few that Collingwood have got that were lucky, and similarly there's been a few that Adelaide in the same circumstances haven't got. Hopefully it pans out. Adelaide have just had a little bit more of the ball, though.
Well, I guess, I mean, certainly we expect Buckley to get a lot. He didn't say Rocker, but Adelaide, Bond's 4 goals. Gee, they've been important, haven't they? And Wren, 15 possessions to run Ruckman, and a similar amount to the other. Ruckman are getting really ground-level Rover stats.
We apologise there. I'm not sure what Kemp, Banfield and Ball are doing there for Adelaide.
We'll take McKenna.
Wouldn't be a bad side. Toss the best in from both lots.
Yes.
Start of the second half. And Wren goes up against Rocker. Rocker beats him again and follows up with a kick out of the centre circle. But McLeod marks.
Wasn't that a beautiful mark? Just up in front, beautifully balanced, good eyes, good hands.
And Kinnear is cross half forward. It's really that half forward line. And Peter's, I think, completely right. Collingwood have to find a way through there. Ben Kinnear, one of the players who has actually been given that job.
This is Cook to the 50. Robrin. He held it all the way down to a free kick. Umpire Mitchell.
It was a mark, I think.
And again, we have Pittman in the goal square by himself because, or not by himself, but Monkhurst is still up the other line. Let's see if Pittman can take the run out and take the mark. He's got the jump and the mark.
Well called.
Well, I could see it. I don't know whether Damien Monkhurst could, and he's very embarrassed because Damien Monkhurst is back in the centre square, hoping like hell that this didn't happen. You could see it happen. You could see it building up, and those big fellas, when they have a run at the pack, well, it's very hard to stop him. It was only a question. He almost took it in the first quarter, Cornsey, and couldn't hold it.
But I'm sure Tony Shaw has said to him, look, don't get run out of position. When these Adelaide forward line players, backline players run forward, put some doubt in their mind by staying back. Now, it's cost him dearly here because Pittman, I'm sure, will go. He does. But they might be playing a team plan.
Yes, well, it is a difficult situation, that, because, as you know, I mean, these days the defenders run so aggressively, and the greatest form of defence, really, is to make sure that your opponent is out of the forward line. And that was the good mark by Robin that set this up. But, again, Pittman just had to sit and was able to jump into it. And it is a very difficult thing. Neil Curley, what did you think of that particular moment?
Well, 6.5 doesn't the other. Do you go down with him, or do you stay back and hope for a return ball to come your way? So it's an interesting call, that one.
And now Monkhurst has gone onto the ball. Rocker's gone to full forward, and Monkey goes up against Wren. Wren beats him easily. Remember the opening bounce of the half, and Sav Rocker beat Wren. The umpire will call for another bounce.
Whereas Gavin Brown's he's dragged Nigel Smart back to the full forward line. I think that's as much to get Smart away from the full back line as it is for Brown to be coast to goal.
Monkhurst got a fair bit of that. Down to Godden. Here's a chance for Patterson. 45 metres out, back outside the 50. Curran to the goal square. And through for a minor score. Rocker and Brown both there.
Drew, we got the interchange here for the start of the third quarter for Collingwood. Graham Wright, Stuart Mangan, Alex McDonald and Scott Crowe, and the Crows are the same as they started the first quarter.
Thanks, girls.
Oh, that had to be a precise kick, but it was.
And McLeod, beautiful mark. James, and he goes to Tyson. His kick to Robrin.
Well, he's really coming into this game, Matthew Robin.
Andrew Shawber was caught on the other side of the ground playing really an extended zone for Collingwood, and that left Robin with a lot of space.
Razzo had to stand the mark. Ball to the goal square. Here's Rashudo. Pulled off his kick. There's that Terrier Godden again.
He's at it.
Vardy over his shoulder. Osborne back there, but it's through for a minor score.
Yes, Ian Perry there. His first game. Tyson Edwards alongside him. Andrew Eccles and Trent Ormond-Allen. And Rex Lay, the property manager, long serving for the Adelaide Crows, just getting his head in that little photo as well.
Richard Osborne weighing up his options here. Margin 19 points. And Cornsey, you talked about the importance of that goal, whether it came before half-time or just after. Well, Adelaide got it. And now it's a pretty decent break. Russell to Krasiska. Gavin Krasiska into a wintry sun. Rocker. Once again, the ball lands on its point.
Oh, interesting manoeuvre from David Pittman. The umpire says, no, it's okay.
Couldn't penalise that, Graham.
I guess he's mostly a ruckman, David Pittman, but he has been a very useful tall defender. We remember the job he did on Stuart Lowe in the last year's grand final, and certainly in defence today. Monkhurst took that one mark against him, and so did Rocker, maybe another couple, but he's certainly very solid against the tall marking forwards, Cornsey.
He's very mobile, and he gets up at the ball well, even if he doesn't mark cleanly himself. He's stood players consistently like Lowe, like Rocker, and Patterson getting slowly to his feet. Even Stephen Kernahan, these extremely big players that the normal backline players have a bit of difficulty manning up.
The ruckman forwards he does extremely well on.
Adelaide ranked second in the league in defence. Last year they were the best defensive team in the competition, so very important that as we speak, Gavin Brown from out of nowhere has taken a mark in the pocket.
Well, I think we've often mentioned almost week in, week out, a forward should be able to take the first half step compared to his defender when a quick kick comes forward out of the pack, and then Nigel Smart covering the goal front. It was just the Burns quick kick forward, and Brown just read it off the boot, just that little bit better than Nigel Smart, who got caught behind.
Well, they really needed Colin.
He doesn't look confident with his kick though, Lee, does he? The point you were making in the first half.
He is not the most confident kick.
They need a captain's goal.
Kick that.
They like it behind.
Okay. I got you something.
Thanks. This has had a bite taken out of it.
Yeah, I got hungry waiting in line.
Yeah, but...
If you don't want it...
No, it's...
I didn't have to get you one, did I?
It's just, if you're going to have a bite, then logically...
Logically?
Hey.
Well, that's logical.
The only thing as good as your cherry ripe is someone else's.
I'm going to save mine till later.
The margin back to 13 points, the same as it was at half-time. Goal each to start the second half. Rand beats Montcourse this time. Comes back to Tyson. Now James, up and down the mine shaft, didn't go anywhere. The back of the fist to Buckley. He moved it on well his team's way. McLeod in a bit of trouble. Back to Tyson. Tregenza. Burns hits it hard. Down goes Bond. Well done, Burns, to Razzo. Buckley, good trap. Flipped it over his back. Ran. And Downsborough. Down towards half forward with a bit of distance to the forward pocket. Rashudo. Rest of Giacomo with him. Any Australians playing this game anymore? Throw in.
Multicultural society, Drew.
Sure is.
Lee, how do you see Williams' game so far? I haven't seen him getting much footy yet.
Yeah, just not getting enough of it, really. He's had 9 possessions, but just really hasn't been getting in the key positions, except for that long goal he kicked in the first quarter. I think that's what Collingwood need from Williams. Not so much 30 possessions and on-baller, but to get up in the midfield, to get 20 possessions and be able to maybe come forward and kick 2 or 3 goals. But playing at half forward on Andrew McLeod, well, McLeod's been pretty good back there.
Nice Anglo-Saxon name, Peter McKenna.
Since we watch the action, Collingwood coming out of defence. Nigel Smart has gone to centre half back. They probably miss his drive out there, and Goodwin's gone to full back.
McLeod gets the ball to Smart, who's working forward of the centre. Short pass, Bickley. 51 metres from goal.
Yes, we mentioned how Gavin Brown had lined up at full forward and Smart went with him. And, yeah, obviously, as Peter has mentioned, Malcolm Blight prefers to get the run of Nigel Smart off half-back. A good tactic to that because he was just sensational with his movement and running out of defence in the first half.
Mark Bickley to the goal square. Downsborough. Touched.
Graham, I don't think that's a team plan, that Monkhorst-Pittman one, because Pittman went forward then and Rocker was right with him.
Oh, well, they've obviously got the message, don't let him go by himself. But it's a difficult one, Kells. I think there's times when you tell them, rather than being dragged out of position, put a
someone
back,
can cover for you. Yeah.
Put some doubt in their mind. If we get the turnover, you put the onus back on them.
True.
Nathan Buckley gains a few metres and then gets it outside the 50. But the opposition have it. Downsborough. Ground level ball. Razzo. Not a bad kick to the centre of the ground. Punched forward by Stevens to Rashudo.
Wouldn't eluded them all.
They had a choice of players. Robran feeds it out wide. Tregenza. This is 20 metres out. Cook.
Well, the ball was no doubt there was no doubt the ball was not aimed where it landed, George. To spit those words out, but the wind just completely grabbed the ball off Tregenza's boot and it just really finished 20 metres from where it was aimed. But young Cook read it off the boot better than anyone.
And from right in front, oh, he hit the post. Now,
yes, it's interesting, Lee. The Collingwood players went to where the ball was aimed.
Yeah, towards the goal, covered the goal.
Sujay Cook, he watched the ball. He's watched the ball and he's able to just recover quickly. Took a very good catch low down. His kick for goal, not accurate though. Nathan Buckley doing the kicking. It's a lot of work for him to do, to kick in and then run through the midfield, isn't it?
It is. Had 18 kicks, Buckley, and we don't count the ones where he's restarting play with
They're only for practice, the kick-ins.
Yeah. So, well, Adelaide have kicked 9 behind, so he's probably he had a good 25 kicks all up. And this will be a ball up near centre wing in front of the members' stand here at the MCG.
Then Andrew Shawball's in the forward 50-metre area as this ball up takes place, so he'd taken the punt and gone forward from defence as well, and now Matthew Robran. That is centre-half forward position down the Collingwood end. So they've swapped positions, swapped lines, Curls.
If I was Robran, I'd take off.
Back out of bounds?
Without question, since the turnaround has been mainly through Robran's influence at centre-half forward.
Well, the ball's on the wing, so there's no real advantage. So it'd be interesting, at the moment, whether Robran took off down his end and whether Shawball would go with him.
Robran's had the most marks of the Crows, 6, and he's had 11 possessions as well. Tyson's been good. Kicks to full forward. Off hands to the danger man, Bond. Don't tell me he could kick this. Bounces in the goal square. Well, we have seen some 90-degree bounces today, but not on this occasion. And the ball seen over the line by Godwin.
Half-back line is the line that's holding Collingwood up for the Crows, like McLeod and Smart. They're just about swooping everything here.
The official website, and you've hit that location a few times, Cornsey, and some of the things they can print out are fantastic. Be on it.
I'll share some of those things with you later, but it really is worthwhile logging onto that www.com.afl.
Oh, Monkhorst got too close to Wren. Oh, gets the recovery and shows them the ball and takes it away. Then spirals it to half forward. And
I don't think he meant to have a torpedo punt on the run then, Drew, but it fell into the Collingwood players' hands. And Burns, just his work ethic in the middle of the packs, always just makes Collingwood look a little more solid.
The margin is 15 points.
I don't think he's known as a long penetrating kick, and it's just a testing distance the way the wind is blowing this ball around.
Breeze might help him at that end. It's close to the left goal post and passes outside it.
Gee, he's given it a good ride, but Andrew McLeod. We'll just watch Monkhorst here. Will I do? Kicks into the Sean Wren, follows it up.
Back again, and a little
very
ball.
Nice bolt, gee.
Show Tyson the ball, just to show that the big guys can do it as well.
Well, that can be a bit of a ploy. What about Cousins when he kicked into the man, whipped round and won the game a couple of weeks ago over in Adelaide?
Fairly low percentage, I'd suggest.
Yeah, you wouldn't try too often.
Graham, a free kick off Harvey.
What are you saying, Curls?
There's Wren up to Tregenza.
John Harvey, not the most popular umpire in Adelaide this year, boys.
He's been picked out in particular, has he?
Particularly after that Sean Redden incident against North Melbourne earlier in the year.
Here's Wren. Sweeps the hand pass wide. Robran. Punch by Shawville is good. It was remarkable earlier in the season also, where it became apparent that it was Harvey, the umpire, who had scratched the ball to assist in their bouncing techniques. I couldn't believe that one.
No, that was...
come out of left field, didn't it?
It's almost sacrilege. It's almost like defacing an icon to do that to a Sherrin football.
Well, we talked about how, they pump it up so that the bouncers go high. Well, it's another example. Surely they don't think that people click the turnstiles to see them bouncing it.
I'll give you another thing to ponder. What happens to the ball at the end of the game? Where does it go? Who gets it?
I've got a few.
Oh, it's a dangerous ball.
Williams, you're in heaps of bother.
Well played, they would clear it out.
Buckley, close to the line. That's out of...
Oh, the umpire had a good look at it. He's in the right position.
Oh.
No, actually, well, the balls at the end of the game just go back to the home club and they use them at training. Simple as that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The 4-footies
the AFL actually provide the balls, but after they're used, just the home club use them for training.
I thought the umpires might have come up with a few of those 4 that are available.
That might be a collector's item if you get the one with the scratches applied by umpire Hart. Here's Watson, who just came on to replace Bosley. Rocker! No. Pittman frustrates him. Well, there it is. It's still alive.
Yes.
McLeod.
Been good back there, haven't they? McLeod and Smart, that half-back line, very useful.
Cook. Vardy. Danger signs here for Collingwood. The margin is only 14 points. Kick by Vardy. Prosciutto can't mark. All Collingwood. Osborne hasn't had many touches for the second week in a row. Wide to Francisco.
Graham, they've taken the tall Downsborough off and put a smaller Ormond Allen up forward.
Well, he competes in the air and on the ground too, though, Curls, Trent Ormond Allen.
Correct.
Williams could spark the pies here with an individual run. It was not a bad run, but the kick astray. Rocker gets it down to Crow. What a tackle applied by the man of the grand final. And Crow was just brought to a halt.
Nicely done by Rocker. Just watch how Rocker, we just missed it there. Rocker just nicely deflected that ball on the half volley to Crow, but a great tackle, Andrew McLeod.
Scott Russell being interchanged as we speak. I've got a feeling that missed tackle on Cook over on that far wing might not have pleased Tony Shaw.
Exchange it in close quarters here. It's taken away from Wren by Crow. I think that was the hand to boot job. And that's about how much time Crow had to work.
As we indicated before the game, fellas, this is a ground level game, this one.
Yeah, not attractive, is it? It's just going to be a grinding finish this next quarter and a half.
Wren and Monkhorst. Wren at ground level. Well done, Williams.
But I must say, Lee, it's one of those games you're going to come off. The winners are going to feel tremendously satisfied because they know they've had to do it the hard way. No easy kicks.
I think we said in the first quarter that 12 goals might just about win the game, and I must at the moment, I think if you're confident you're going to get the 12, you'll be pretty confident you'll finish in front.
See Scott Russell there having treatment for his hamstrings, Lee. Is that what happens if you get dragged? You go straight to the trainer and you make sure they put some work on you, so it looks better. Razzo in the middle. He got it back from Curran inside the 50. Rocker. With Sav. Down he goes. Play on, says the umpire. Fired out by Patterson to Crow. And Watson
thought about it. Well,
he's in the forward pocket. Vardy kicked one from near that boundary line, but further out.
He didn't have time to think about it. Sometimes, according to you, better to have 2 or 3 steps to get balanced. The set shot from here, and it was good play. Collingwood are really in this game. They just really can't get the scoring going often enough, of course. It's a real struggle for both teams.
Does he play on here? He looks to. It's a blood rule. We'll stay with Watson. There's Peter Vardy coming off with the blood rule, but Shane Watson in that. It's not a deep pocket at the MCG. Peter McKenna's right behind him, so we'll get a call from him. But this is a pocket on this ground. Even if you're deep, you do get a good look at the goals. I'd be confident if I was him, although he doesn't appear to be all that confident.
Well, the other thing I would think, and Peter, you're behind the kick, is if you play on a windy day, sometimes you just better get everything in a straight line and just drive through the line of the kick.
Yeah, he has to be spot on here, Lee. He's hooked it slightly.
And when they wanted a goal, when they desperately wanted a goal, it's only a behind.
He kicked 5 goals last week, Shane Watson. That's his first score today.
As you can see with Vardy, nothing serious, just a little nick to the inside of the knee.
Now Ben Hart to kick in. Told to hurry up. Umpire Mitchell. Oh, Monkey, nice old pushing it back. He gets away with it. Back to full forward, but ill-directed. Goodwin's there.
He's played very well, Simon Goodwin. He's coming up for his 14th possession. Sorry, he's
been solid, hasn't he? Just been one of the supporting cast to this fella, Nigel Smart and Andrew McLeod, in really making the half-back line pretty impenetrable for the Crows.
Oh, Robrin's been very good. Gets it up to Bond going forward. Back to Robrin, standing start. Inside 50. Eccles. Oh, look at this. Cook. Top tackle by Wright.
Good football all around. The Collingwood crowd once holding the ball, but in the act of kicking, the ball spilled. I think the decision was correct. Sharpness by Cook. He pounces on it. This is Bond. Quick kick by Robrin. Eccles on the ground, the handball back inside. Cook trying to break through. Free. Good call. That was interesting.
Sure. A couple of dodgy hand passes today. Oh, great tackling by Chris Siska. It spills to Eccles. Adelaide under a bit of pressure now. Cook. That was a lucky kick.
That was lucky. I mean, it was probably barely 10 metres, but I guess maybe just 10. But yeah, luck's a fortune, isn't it, Cornsey? It was just a question of which dozen players that kick fell into the hands of.
Well, both teams are desperate at the moment. Nothing lacking in that department. And well, James in front, short kick into the breeze. Can he goal?
A former Collingwood player. He's kicked it well, and the Collingwood fans have remained. Oh, he hasn't. It's a behind.
The Collingwood crowds are coming right into the game, though, Lee.
Let's just have a look at this. Was this 10 metres, Will? There's Brett James there. Close enough, I guess. It's all boiled down. It was right on the minimums, I guess.
But to make the point about the Collingwood crowd, they've really found some voice in this last 5 or 10 minutes. It may be a factor here at the MCG.
And they know their team's striving hard, aren't they? Because the effort really, you can't fault at the moment from Collingwood. They're just having trouble putting the scoreboard pressure into practice.
Good run by Watson. Here's Pro on the 50.
The Monkhurst in the middle. Can they get it there?
Patterson. It's a very high ball. Oh, straight to McLeod.
Instead of getting the quick kick quickly, came back to the second or third effort.
James to Tyson to Goodwin. We're still scratching ourselves trying to work out. Simon Goodwin played in the Premiership last year. Hardly recognisable on the streets outside Adelaide, Cornsey, I suppose.
Well, his first game in Victoria was the preliminary final last year, and he's played in that, and of course the winning grand final. But he is a very good player, boys. Make no mistake about that.
Absolutely. What about this one?
Pickup wasn't that good.
McLeod, who won the Norm Smith medal in the grand final last year, gets to the back of the pack. They've lost sight of it. Cook.
Punched quite right. But wasn't that ground level pickup under pressure by McLeod then just really classy? No one's really handling the ball. Let's have a look at this if we can. Look at this. Just off the boot and accelerates off. That looks pretty simple, but gee, not many other players today, Cornsey, under this pressure have been able to handle the ball that cleanly.
It's one of his unique skills too. He very rarely fumbles at ground level.
Gee, this quarter has been at a standstill. They'd kicked just 1 goal each for the quarter. The margin's 15 points. It was 13 at half-time.
Brett James off, we see up there. Strange one. Tyson Edwards on.
3.5 minutes to three-quarter time. That's a mark.
normally two fellas, you'd say, the big men towards the end of a game will start to take control. With a win like it is today, I think it's still a small man's game.
Stevens puts it out in front of the goal square. And Godden takes the mark. Well, he wasn't even going to let a teammate get his way.
You like the look of this kid, don't you?
Oh, he's got
you
way
just
up.
have to like him.
Took the punt on, but he had a go at it. And it worked.
Osborne straight up the ground. Oh, Patterson had cleared him. This is danger now. McLeod can kill you. Oh. And Eccles has it right in front.
It's been turnover football today, really, hasn't it? That was just an example of when Collingwood came out of defence straight over the head of the target player when McLeod, well, he did it well, didn't he, Corns? He was able to evade the first tackle and then just give Eccles a set shot at goal.
Eccles has kicked 12 goals, 5 this year. Third on the goal kickers table for the Crows. That's away to the right. In the field of play. Oh, they've kept it alive. Partly smothered. No, it is a mark to Williams in the goal square. Two and a quarter minutes left to three-quarter time. He's turned it over. Tyson! He's missed.
Well, two mistakes. I guess they're even, but Tyson, I think he was right to play on, but the Williams kick again, Collingwood turned the ball over by... well, kicking short in these conditions is tough because the ball just hangs up in the air, and that was into a cluster of Crows players, and Tyson read the kick well, but didn't actually make Collingwood pay the ultimate price.
Crows have kicked 1 goal 6 in this quarter. By our reckoning, they'll come home with the breeze. Buckley to Monkhorst at centre wing with Scott Crow. Oh, well played. He drew a man, found Crow. 52 metres out. Open goal square, but he's offline with a kick. Brown tries to keep it in. It'll be a throw-in.
Well, the breeze didn't do that kick any favours, though. It didn't appear as though there was much behind it. And Collingwood really struggling in their forward line. We've spoken before about Nigel Smart, Andrew McLeod, Simon Goodwin, and indeed David Pittman. Very, very good in defence there.
Can the Pies pinch another one before three-quarter time? Crow swamped. Back he comes. Curran to the goal square. And here's Goodwin. He is a good player. Even though nobody knows him this side of the border, Cornsey. Kick by Goodwin to half-back flank. And very well done by Godden. Here's McLeod again. What class he is. He even judged that to bounce out.
Simon Goodwin, interestingly enough, had to make a decision between cricket and football. He was a first-class cricketer, played district cricket in Adelaide. Football won out. He's got a premiership medallion there and a very important player in this lineup, so maybe he's made the right decision.
Yes, I think the last September would have been a big memory for him. Was he ever going to pull on the baggy green?
Well, he had a chance to do so, but he made the choice to play footy.
Smart, a little bit of bother here. Oh, free kick Adelaide, advantage. It goes to Goodwin. That could be crucial, just as Collingwood were 20 metres from goal. Oh, great tackle. That's holding the ball.
Yeah, great play by Paul Williams. Advantage is paid, but it's played on again.
And Williams, long to the goal square. Rocker is there. Poor kick by Williams. He had more time than he thought. Out of bounds on the foot.
Well, both teams have had their opportunities. It's a real grind. I mean, a real receiver shooter just dashing through the centre. Great tackle here.
He's one of the few players, Paul Williams, who chases and with top speed. He really does take after the chase. A lot of players are much quicker with the ball, but Williams can really motor in attempt to give tackling pressure.
Eccles' hand pass floated wide. Tregenza. Crowd who had a good view of it thought it might have been out.
This is Radio Mike 1 over the other side.
It's a half forward and run over the line by Shawble. We've just about run out of time, just seconds left.
So much effort by both teams, particularly Collingwood here, and
so little result, really.
So little result. I mean, the next goal, if Adelaide gets it, will break their heart.
1-6 to 1-3 in this quarter. Bickley just gets free. The siren signals three-quarter time. And a 16-point lead to Adelaide, who won the quarter by 3 points. And the teams kicked just 1 goal each. So that is a low-scoring slog, all right. But I suppose the difference in the scores still gives Collingwood a chance in the last quarter.
Absolutely, yeah. There's nothing in the game, really. A couple of goals is not a big margin as we go into this last quarter.
And the three-quarter time score, Adelaide 8-12, leading Collingwood 6 goals 8.
It all started with Jim and 2 McDonald's quarter pounders.
And now it's here, McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese, with 2 beef patties and 3 slices of cheese. Only McDonald's double quarter pounder with cheese is the official burger of the AFL.
Don't miss out on your free sheet of endangered animal stickers inside this weekend's Sunday Mail. Then complete your album by presenting the advertiser sticker coupons to your local newsagent. Sticker sheets are 50 cents, with part proceeds going to the World Wildlife Fund. But be quick before they all disappear.
An economical 2.5-litre engine, sleek aerodynamic design for maximum fuel efficiency, the fully advanced TZI suspension system. Doesn't mean much without RAA car insurance.
I'd like to talk to you about a loan. And what is the purpose of this loan, may I ask? A 5-speed, lightweight alloy, cadmium blue mountain bike with that matching helmet. And do we have a guarantor?
Telling Colin. Now there's a way of banking that makes you your own banker.
Very impressive.
Home buyer power from Adelaide Bank.
Dactarin, now available in a no-mess spray. Dactarin kills the 2 bugs that cause tinea.
To start your own business, you could risk running by yourself into an uncertain future, or start scoring sooner by using Amway's dynamic business plan, which has successfully operated worldwide for over 38 years. Amway, because opportunity has its rewards.
Belonging to RAA Insurance, South Australia's #1 car insurer, gives you peace of mind when you need it most. Not only do you receive the very best when it comes to making a claim, you also have the option of paying your premium monthly, and benefits such as a free windscreen claim. We also pay the higher amount of the agreed or market value of your car. Little wonder most South Australians trust and belong to RAA Comprehensive Car Insurance. There for you always.
On Live and Kicking, they've got it all.
You know you're getting the best quality and the very best service.
Dougie delivered with a karate chop.
Do I have to address you as Sensei Hawkins down there, Dougie?
Then James got caught doing his block.
I'd like to apologise to my mother again, as I did.
It's football fun and no one's safe.
Not a bum slapping. You notice that?
Will Wednesday's guest parody better than Sticks?
Yes, you've got a number on me again, you blokes.
Live and Kicking, Wednesday 9:30 on 7.
And the Crows lead the game. They break up from Malcolm Blight's three-quarter time huddle with a 16-point lead going into the last quarter. Tony Shaw having a last yelp at his players before they go into the final term. And the score at three-quarter time is 8-12 Adelaide to 6 goals 8 Collingwood, and still Troy Bond is the only multiple goal scorer on the ground. Hawthorn and North Melbourne today out at Waverley. And it's been an interesting game all day. Can't get much tighter, and the Hawks bottom of the ladder, and they're having another go. 12-9, leading North Melbourne by 2 points, 12 goals 7. Well, the Geelong-Brisbane game has been interesting all day, and if you've been peeking a bit of a look, you might have cheated yourself. So some stations taking a replay after this. If you don't want to know the score, look away now.
Seven Sport hope you're enjoying this match in the 1998 Coca-Cola AFL Premiership season.
And it's a fantastic opportunity now to welcome a man who's back to a venue that I'm sure he remembers. Socceroo Harry Cool. He almost got us to the World Cup, and here he is with curls.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. Well, Harry, this is not one of your favourite grounds, is it?
No, it isn't. I haven't had the best times here, but I still love coming to the MCG.
And this is your first look at Australian rules?
It is, and I've really enjoyed it.
Pretty hard, isn't it?
It is. It's tough. I mean, I see him running around for about half an hour, you know, and have about 5 minutes break, then run around for another half an hour. It's quite tough.
Now, here's your goal, which was a good one against Iran. I guess you wish you could have kicked another one.
Yeah, I wish I could have, but at the end of the day, I mean, I only kicked one, and I mean, we didn't make it, which was disappointing, but hopefully we can make the next one.
And you feel the Socceroos could have made a good fist of it if you hadn't made the World Cup?
I think we would have. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tournament, and anyone can win.
All right, look, Harry, thanks. It's been great chatting to you, and all the best in your career. Back to you, Drew.
Start of the last quarter here at the MCG. Oh, Harry, I thought you were going to get us into the World Cup that night. Curran out of the middle for Collingwood. And if they have a real surge at the start of this quarter, they can be right in it with a chance of winning. A goal from Williams would be handy to the goal square. Rocker is there. Just couldn't complete the mark. Out of bounds.
And Schauble into the forward line, that half-forward line area there has really been a struggle for Collingwood. So Schauble to centre half forward, Brown back onto Robber. Now the main changes as we go into this final term.
And strange enough, Andrew McLeod into the forward line for Adelaide.
Curran. Well, Smart gets back there to make sure that's not going very well.
Yeah, wonderful athleticism. Nigel Smart just got up into the air, patted it away. Peter McKenna.
Yes, I think it all depends on whether Collingwood can get any drivers. Lee said across half forward, Drew, because that's where they've been held up all day. Nigel Smart, Simon Goodwin, Andrew McLeod, absolutely sensational, and their skill level under the windy conditions has been outstanding.
Hart kicks outside 50. Edwards clears. And Tyson Edwards to James Tyson. Tyson up towards centre wing. Rasciuto. 15 points the margin.
Mark Stevens also gone to full forward for the Adelaide team as well, Drew.
Could be a turnover in midfield. Prasiska hit pretty hard. And Bickley has an arm wrestle with Curran. The umpire will ball that up. Mark Bickley still on Nathan Buckley. Just to the right of screen, there they are. Schauble. Oh, whack. Take that. Yes, the whistle that eventually went. It's going to be another Collingwood free kick. Don't think there can be an argument about that.
In the third quarter, it's Nathan.
Could be. The hand did appear to miss from the replay.
Moncourt.
It'll bounce.
Still going. But Hart, last line. Oh, great kick. Edwards. Kick by Edwards over centre wing. Crosses one line to Stevens on the next. Scoop off the ground by Wright. Graham Wright, premiership player, way back in Lee Matthews' time, 1990. You'll ever forget that. Comes to Hart. Inside the 50, Gavin Brown is back there. And he leaves it to the man that Graham Corns really likes, Luke Godden. Osborne, he's got a bit of space here, Osborne. He's got Watson unmarked up near half forward. Oh, Osborne got a poor bounce.
He's got to be holding the ball, surely, if he bounces and it doesn't come back.
Well, you get tackled, though. That's the point, I guess. It was an actual effective tackle load.
Crow.
Hey, Graham, how do you see this one of McLeod forward? He was doing a great job in defence.
I'm not convinced about it, Curls. He was so good in defence in the first three quarters, and Rocker on the lead after a magnificent kick from Crow.
Well, you don't get too many more pressurised kicks than this one, Corsi. And Peter McKenna up in the stand. Of course, he's going back to the system that he actually used for probably the last couple of months. But keeping this ball on line, both for the goal and the morale boost for Collingwood, is just going to be maybe the game. Depends on this kick.
Well, Lee, he is a great kick, Lee, for goal. He is a very good kick naturally, and they really do need this, but very difficult kick under the windy conditions.
Up go the black and white flags.
told you about the speed camera that fined the wrong car. Now, Monday on 7 Nightly News, the radar gun that got it wrong.
And it's rubbish. They could be fitting you with it.
And the couple taking the police to court for every South Australian motorist.
Jeffrey Rush, in his Academy Award-winning performance, is the extraordinary,
David Helfgott.
If you do something wrong, you can be punished for the rest of your life.
the outstanding network premiere, coming soon to Channel 7 Shine.
Tony Shaw scanning the field, looking at his matchups.
I can tell you he's churning inside, even though he looks calm from the outside.
Scoreboard shows 60 to 50. We've got it a 9-point difference. But anyway, 2 kicks and Collingwood can be in front. Bickley out of the middle. Crowd yelling for a throw. Oh, great mark, God. Hand pass dropped short of Osborne. Somehow he gets his kick in. Good hands, Patterson. Through the middle. He kicks one out to Rocker with Pittman. Wren gets back to help. And Smart, who has been beautiful all day, Nigel Smart. Edwards.
Yeah, Sean been very good in that situation, dropping back.
Norman Allen been on the bench for 3 quarters. It'd be a cold old occupation today. Goodwin. Left footer, not good. Burns.
This is where you've got to really, on the turnovers, it's just been rebounding, isn't it? It's turnover after turnover, but who can maintain possession?
He had Buckley early, but he delayed too long. Monkhorst now with a chance. Ormond Allen. Monkey's got him. Defensive kick by Trent Ormond Allen. Run over the line by the skipper, Bickley.
Well, it's a pressure game, and neither team conceding anything. Simon Tregenza there. Ian Perry for his first game. Andrew Eccles on the bench. I want to get some action.
From Collingwood's point of view, this first 6 minutes of the final quarter has been played in their forward half, and Monkhorst is going forward as well.
Osborne for goal! And Collingwood within a kick!
Whatever I do, I know in my heart I'll never be far apart from you. Though the years roll by, you'll see me through and be with me all my life. Whatever I do.
Problem. Well, the crowd finding some voice now. We have the margin at 3 points. We're assured that is correct. The scoreboard shows it as 4 points. Collingwood now within 1 kick.
The other thing that interested me was that last forward contest, Monkhorst was forward and Rocker was forward. I would have thought early in the game when they were playing either their ruckman back in the ground, and he is an aggressive player, Monkhorst. He's the kind of leadership and intensity
I'll tell you what, don't take on
the Collingwood side.
Do not take on Mark Rashudo, regardless of how much bigger you are than him.
Monkhorst wins that. Good hands in there by Williams, and pass astray. Comes to Costa, up to the 50. Well done, Robran. McLeod dangerous. That's not a hand pass, Sandy.
Ooh, played the throw against... I think he played the throw against McLeod. I'm trying, everyone's looking at the umpire. Which way is this going? He played the throw against... Let's have a look at this. I don't know whether he's played the throw against McLeod.
What is...
I think it's this next one, not this one.
Oh,
this one.
Well, he's paid the tap from Watson as a throw.
Yeah. And I reckon the McLeod throw is play on.
Well, that's hard work.
Well, if the umpires looked at the free kick count and maybe decided to do something about it in the last quarter. Burns lost it. Awkward half volley, Bickley. Either side can win this. It's been scrappy all day, but it's close and exciting. The kick out of bounds on the full, and Prestigiacomo will take the free.
Drew, I don't know if you got that last call. Vardy off with an injured right ankle for the Crows.
Well, the free kicks are even in this last quarter, at least. But Adelaide did win them 3-1 in the third. Bit of a discrepancy at half-time. Rashudo to half forward, and here's the first gamer, Ian Perry, making his debut from East Perth.
Good mark under that sort of pressure too.
Sure was.
His football hero is Roger Perry. We assume that's his dad.
get out of the website.
Off the AFL website, some interesting stuff on that. Particularly Frank Rasso's choice of dinner guests. We'll get back to that in a minute. He's got a couple of interesting ones there.
Adelaide, chance here. Over his shoulder by Stevens, but very wide. Costa can't keep it in.
Yes, Frank Russo off the AFL website says he'd like to have Earl McPherson, Mimi McPherson and Pamela Lee. No problem there for guests. Steve Silvani and Adolf Hitler was the unusual one.
Yeah. What a mix.
What a mix. Must have seen the video.
Patterson. Well, this is tight. We're not quite midway through the last quarter. And Adelaide haven't won in Melbourne this year. Not only that, they've never beaten Collingwood in Melbourne. So they've got a lot to play for. They had quite a lead, but it's been whittled away by a couple of goals by Collingwood here in the last quarter. Now Buckley has it, with open territory ahead. To centre wing. Ormond-Allen.
Trent Ormond-Allen has got such vertical athleticism. He will one day take the mark of the year, if not the century. But doesn't...
It was a good jump, wasn't it?
Nigel Smart had it covered, but Trent Ormond-Allen from the side, over the top of him. It's amazing to do that. Both those players got amazing vertical leaps. Just doesn't get the ball often enough, even if he does do it spectacularly.
It's a beauty. 3 points the margin, although the scoreboard showing 60 to 56. Costa inside the 50. I'll back our scores any day. Prasiska to the line.
Well, it's going to be interesting if it's a one-point ball game at the end. The scoreboard does show a 4-point lead to Adelaide. The Channel 7 scorers and statisticians say a 3-point lead to Adelaide. There'll be confusion here at the ground if it happens.
Well, the emergency goal umpire agrees with us, and I've tallied all my scores, and I reckon Collingwood are 8 goals 9. The board has them at 8 goals 8. Floated hand past James. Bond, another one! Across the face. And off Perry it goes from behind. Plenty of Crows fans here. And the scoreboard has just corrected itself to our score. So we were in the day again, boys.
That's 7 straight behinds for Adelaide since they scored their last goal. They just can't get the ball through at the moment.
Maybe expensive too.
Cricket pitch area. Rashuto. Straight up the middle. Bond!
Oh. He does that so well.
That was a good grab, wasn't it? Because Buckley was caught back with Bickley, and Bond, being the zoning player who was actually unattended, was just the third man up. It's amazing how little players can actually third man up without the thought of body contact and just judge the ball and mark it.
He just gets his chest to the ball. I mean, that sounds unusual when you talk about a chest mark, but he has an ability to get his chest to the ball. Takes it with blood rule there. It must be Nigel Smart, I think, Curls.
Yeah, he wouldn't be taking Smart off the ground. Eccles comes on and the player's held up while the blood rule replacement gets there. Well, Bond kicked 4 in the first half. This for number 5. And the Crows fans like it.
For 10 out of 10 results, the best gardening team around is Yates and Mitre 10. And when you buy Yates products like these Tuscan pots, designed by nurserymen for healthy growth, or Yates potting mix with dynamic lifter, full of nutrients to make things grow big and strong, you'll be helping to support South Australia's favourite sons, the Adelaide Crows.
10 out of 10 every time.
Margin back to 10 points, but the Crows have managed just 2 goals since half-time. Watson to centre half forward. Shawbull. Montcourt's playing the role of a rover. Williams, Patterson. Good tackle. That would have been holding the ball earlier in the season.
Has to be a throw. It's a throw against Paul Williams. You're right, Drew, but they've given the player with the ball some chance to get rid of it at least.
Two Adelaide players. I think Mashudo just maybe at the last moment realised his teammate James was going to mark it, just avoided the contest.
Now Shawble to right. A chance for the Pies to mount another attack. Wide to Crow.
He's doing all right at centre-half forward. He's an unlikely centre-half forward, but he's had a fair bit of the ball in the last half.
With distance, Wren got back there to help Pittman out.
He's 2-on-1 Rock. He was like the meat in the sandwich Rock. We had one behind him, one in front of him, and they're both about 6'8" in the old language. So
it seems unjust, but it was against the rules.
Centre wing, Francisca punches to the front right. Good hand pass. Osborne kicked a goal earlier this quarter. Hand pass is wide. Buckley can kick it a mile. He'll need to. 55 metres out. Rocker! Oh, he got into position to take it.
Yeah, he worked his way round, didn't he, in front again, Rocker, but just couldn't quite mark it.
And the one thing that really has hurt Collingwood in this game is their lack of trumming players.
Yeah.
Rocker's looked okay, but compare Bond at one end trumming well, but there's just been no trumming players in front of Zach Rocker, or indeed Damien Monkhorst when the ball's gone forward from Collingwood.
And the last couple of losses, the Crows, have been games where they haven't finished them out. Against the Western Bulldogs where they had a chance, and against Richmond and Adelaide where they had a chance. So the stat where they've kicked just 2 goals since half-time doesn't read well for the Crows.
I think last week might have made up for that draw against Essendon.
Actually, Graham, it only needs, say, 2 clean ball movements, and the side that can do it will score the goal.
It's an interesting game. It's not a pretty game, but it really is an interesting game from the point of view of the effort. An opportunity that the players have to take.
Francisca to Patterson. Up to Burns and Ormond Allen. Goodwin. Inside the 50. Adelaide a chance here, but Osborne, his best quarter has been the last. James. Hand pass to McLeod. He's slippery. You can't catch this fella. He goes for goal and kicks it.
Well, they are great.
You'll be chuffed to bits. Lancer GLI Coupe from just $17,990 with free air. Hold your horses. Before you buy a car, check out Lancer GLI Sedan from $19,990 drive away with free air. No bull. You can get Magna Advanced Sedan and Wagon with free air at the Mitsubishi end of financial year sale.
Well, in the absence of a Darren Jarman, who's out suspended, he's the man now. McLeod can play that right.
He's been wonderful. It's unusual to have both McLeod and Bond in the forward line at the same time, particularly after McLeod's form had been so good in the first 3 quarters in defence, but that's why Malcolm Blight is a genius.
Francisca's kick. Good punch at the back, Goodwin. When it comes to Crow, who goals?
Well, maybe they are back, and Scott Crow had called before. He appears to be playing centre-half forward.
Yes,
I can't believe that's the case, but he just appears to be lining up.
I reckon he's probably down there to try and almost give a defensive forward against Nigel Smart. But yeah, they keep on coming, Collingwood. Can they kick? There's 2 or 3 consecutive goals. That's their problem all day. It's really goal for goal, and Collingwood have got to do a little bit more than that from this point on.
But they've given themselves a chance. They put themselves back in the action when it looked like it slipped out of their reach. Tony Shaw, what's he thinking?
Just under 9 minutes remaining. Monkhorst beats Wren in the middle. A fight for it at ground level. A ball up.
Boys, if you've got the stats up there, can you tell me the last time that Mark Bickley had a possession?
We've got to go, girls. Just hang on a second. It's a bit tricky, this. Lee Matthews has done it for me. We'll get back to you, girls.
Shortly.
Computer genius is up here, girls.
I must admit, I would dispute the point, and to answer that question,
it's a long time.
Costa's had a couple of kicks in this quarter, so he's had them in this quarter. But it's interesting that just because McLeod kicks 1 goal, yes. I don't know whether that really verifies the fact that he's forward rather than back. Is it as simple as that?
Mark Bickley's had 3 possessions this quarter, girls.
Okay.
Costa. Chudo just couldn't quite stretch for it. Right, good hands at ground level. Williams, a thumping kick, long to Rocker. Oh, Pittman.
That is the frustration from Collingwood's point of view. Their big ruckman, not only didn't he mark the ball didn't even come to ground.
Hart, as Patterson hit the turf, Hart was off. McLeod.
Magnificent kick from Ben Hart, though, but Andrew McLeod playing in front gave him the opportunity.
McLeod up to 20 disposals. Williams, Collingwood have to mount again. Patterson over the centre circle. Shawville couldn't mark. Burns, Monkhorst, plenty of height, not a lot of distance. Crow is there with Smart. Cook. Back to half forward. Oh, Hart!
That is a great
There's been a couple of good possessions this last two. The kick on the mark on the wing, and then the actual real pressured mark.
What's the pressure here? But he saw the ball, he had it in front of his eyes, the hands behind it. And Stephen Patterson not quite big enough to get the hand there, but Benny Hart, wonderful player for Adelaide.
And he's one of those deceptively tall players, 191 centimetres, but tends to play on the small opposition forward.
Drop short, McLeod almost took a mark, might have been held by one arm. Shawville the hand pass. And out of defence, God.
He's trying to bounce it out, but didn't get there.
This is Cook in his first season. Down to the forward pocket. Comes back to Robrin.
Pittman down there again.
Yes, and Razzo goes for the boundary line.
And you talk about Pittman being down there. We look back to Collingwood's forward line, and there's only Scotty Crow left in there. All of Adelaide's defenders have run forward. The Collingwood forwards have had to chase them.
They run out hard, don't they, those Adelaide defenders?
It's a key of Malcolm Blight's game plan, in fact. Drag the opposition players out of their forward line.
Pittman and Rocker are now dashing back to the other end of the ground. Buckley, half distance pass for him was about 40 metres. Tapped on, Crow couldn't quite give it enough.
It's interesting, Williams forward of the ball at that contest. Crow really, if he'd been able to hit the ball hard forward, Collingwood players would have been running onto it.
Simon Goodwin, he's had his face buried in the painted section of the logo there.
Looks like a shot.
I think his mother's seen him looking more attractive.
Wren beats Monkhorst. Hart, dispossessed.
This is a tough contest now, Drew. This is a really tough contest. It's going to be one on guts alone. Collingwood aren't out of it. I mean, it's just 9 points the difference and about 5.5 minutes to go, but players are playing on memory, or will be.
Just over 5 minutes remaining, 73-64, and the Crows by 9 points. Have never ever beaten Collingwood in Melbourne.
Okay, Lee, who do you see as the more dangerous of this side at this time?
Well, I think the team in front's the one you'd want to be, because scoring is just so difficult. But I mean, you're really even with 5 minutes to go. Collingwood just kicking the 2 goals, given that Adelaide won't score, seems a big ask. And Williams, who's about to run onto the ball, I think he really has to start getting into the game a little bit more to really lift them to victory if that is to develop.
Now Nigel Smart on the overlap, kicks inside 50. Perry, the first gamer, might seal it for the Crows.
Left footer though, he's on the wrong side.
But what we saw, that run by Nigel Smart, he hasn't been as convincing probably in the second half as he was in the first half. Nigel Smart, I wouldn't think, but gee, that surge out of defence was just terrific. He can run from down there.
This is Ian Perry, recruited from East Perth, a 19-year-old, a former All-Australian under-18 player. His AFL debut at the MCG to just about wrap up a game for the Crows.
Oh, they like it too. They like it, and so does he.
What a moment for Tina.
You can get it rolling. You can get it golden. You can get it feeding a fire. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter. It can come at any time, condition up chow or showing them how. Matter of fact, I got it now. Vic Bitter.
Tony Shaw in the coach's box. it looks as though he's looking at another defeat, which would be their 6th in 7 rounds for Collingwood. They started the season well. They won 4 of the first 6. But once again, it's this mid-season slump, and they just keep on missing out on the finals, Len.
Yes, well, it's this quite quirky stat that in the last 3 years, including this year, the Collingwood haven't won in June. It's sort of one of those strange idiosyncrasies that's developed.
Russell after it. It comes out to Mangan, another first gamer. Shawball, Crow! Open goal for Crow, but narrow angle. And he missed that narrow angle. Then he goes back to have another dip at it. Well done. The ball's still in. Hart, round the boundary line. That's great defence by Ben Hart, the All-Australian.
Well, it's great desperation in those defence. And Nigel Smart, particularly when Crow had the open goal in front of him, he just had to find that extra yard to get to him, did so. And then Goodwin and Benny Hart both involved in desperation there for Adelaide.
Comes to Russell. Now a chance for Burns. 51 metres out. Good kick. A top kick.
This RAA symbol has always represented the pinnacle in motor service standards. Earning RAA endorsement is the toughest test of all. One service group has set their sights on this ultimate goal, to offer nothing less than the highest standards, and so earn the right to display the RAA symbol at every one of its outlets. Not surprising, that group is Ultratune. There are 16 Ultratune service centres and they're all RAA approved. Ultratune, in tune with you and your car.
Well, funnier things have happened. Adelaide led by 15 points with 3.5 minutes to go. I saw a game in Brisbane last Sunday which finished up being in a draw, and until the last 30 seconds we didn't believe it was possible. 2.5 minutes left here, and it's only 9 points the margin. Ormond Allen floats the hand pass over the top to Edwards. He's given it up. Oh, Rashudo in a good battle with Buckley. One out. And then kicks out of bounds on the full.
Yes, but when the ball goes forward for Collingwood, they have to find some players at ground level. Nigel Smart, Trent Ormond-Allen, Simon Goodwin back there, just cleaning up too easily.
I suspect here Monkhurst has to try and get in there as well, get a couple of marking options, because the Adelaide players will certainly be getting back.
Yes, they needed a crummer there. Cornsey, you're dead set right. The ball close to out of bounds, and Rashudo would be happy.
And David Pittman again on Sav Rocco. He's just done enough. I mean, he's big enough to cause a bit of doubt in the mind of a player like Rocco, who's normally used to standing players a little bit smaller than himself. You find someone bigger than him, and it makes you think, doesn't it?
Barkley held it a long while, and the umpire will ball it up. The crowd here today, 34,630. So I was talking all day about what a disappointing crowd it was, but that's Collingwood for you. 34,000, it's a shocking crowd.
Well, it's a small crowd for Adelaide too, I'd suggest, but in Melbourne on a day like today, at the MCG, you'd hope for a few more, surely.
Yes, you just wonder whether a few of the fans have given up on the Pies. Going through a bit of a slump at the moment. James off the side of his boot and the ball out of play. 1.5 minutes left, and Collingwood need 2 goals to win. Wren gets it going the Crows' way. Bickley, Rashudo. He won't mind if it goes out. We're just using up a bit of time here.
No, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be effective. That's all it is. And Mark Rashudo been very important in this last half. Particularly this last quarter. He's had 5 possessions in this quarter.
They used up 10 seconds there from boundary throw in to boundary throw in. Long course. Needs to find a Collingwood player. Rashudo's in there.
It's all over now, Drew. They can't score 2 goals in this short a time.
No, not on a day when they've taken 2 hours to get 10 goals. On course. Well done, Burns. Out to Buckley. Buckley might go for one of those long runs. Crows were aware of that, and he was run down. Ormond Allen, well played on Russell. Kicks to centre half forward. Gavin Brown, shocking bounce. Hospital ball as it comes to him. Prestigiacomo to right. We're in the last minute now. They still need 2 goals. Graham Wright, long to the 50. Williams needs to mark. Couldn't manage it. They sweep it out of defence. Edwards to Smart, and the Crows are going to have a breakthrough win. Stevens did well. Rovren, and once again it's out with 22 seconds left on the clock.
It's going to be a very important win for Adelaide here, and makes a mockery of us who thought that maybe Collingwood at the MCG might have got up, but it just consolidates Adelaide now into that top 8 spot. It puts a bit of gap between the teams that are now out of the 8.
And it puts Collingwood 2 games behind the Crows on the ladder. James playing for a free kick.
He hit me up. The umpire said no, he didn't.
Well, they've won just 2 against Collingwood since they came in 91. They were both at Football Park, but they're going to have a Melbourne win here. And there's the siren. The Crows are up against Collingwood at the MCG at last.
Malcolm Blight just looking ruefully at the scoreboard, and Terry Moore in front of him. They teammates in North Melbourne.
I think sometimes
just a job well done.
Yeah, you're happy to get the 4 points, no doubt about that, but it was just such a struggle of a game that all you get's the win, really. You don't get much else. You just get the win, and I think Blighty will be smiling in 5 minutes' time, but just at the moment.
I'm surprised the Adelaide players aren't a little bit more jubilant, because it's such an important win over here. I mean, at the MCG against Collingwood, it was just a win that is so vital to their premiership chances and the chance of consolidating in the 8. But the Adelaide boys, and I think that's probably a good sign, they're just going about their business. We've won the game. Saw Jay Cook there with James Wosley and Brett James, all Norwood teammates. And it's probably a sign of balance there. We've got Neil Curley down on the ground. He's got Nigel Smart with him, who played such a good game. Curls?
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Well, Nigel, that was the one you want to win.
It's been 8 long years, I think, since we've been Collingwood and Melbourne, and as you can see, the boys are really enjoying it. It gives us a break now. We've won 7 games, lost 6, and it's just a fantastic feeling.
A few moves, Troy Bond up forward was a winner.
Oh, look, he's on and off, and he kicked a few goals today, and that's what we needed. All year we've looked for a goal scorer without Tony Monch being there, and guys like Troy Bond chip up every week, and it's great to see.
You've played a lot of positions. Do you prefer the half-back flank?
Oh yeah, look, you can run straight to the ball, you get a few kicks. It's a fantastic position to play in. I just love it.
Great win. Enjoy yourself. Back to you, boys.
Thanks, girls, and well done. Collingwood traipse off. It is their 6th loss in 7 rounds. Their only win was a narrow squeak against Fremantle at Victoria Park in that time.
Yes, but they had a go, though, Lee. I mean, whilst they weren't efficient in their forward line, they certainly had a go. Their endeavour was pretty good all day. You're disappointed with the result, but
Adelaide found a ground-level goal kicker, Troy Bond, who kicked 5 goals, just scrubbed well, made the most of his opportunities, as you said a couple of times during the call. Collingwood had no small forward up there that really looked like crumbing a goal around the marking forwards.
Big Sean ran there. He had the work to do against Rocker and Monkhorst. And the Adelaide players just acknowledging the crowd that's come over and does support them in Adelaide, in Melbourne. It's pretty tough in those first couple of years. Not a lot of voice at the MCG. But for the last few years, there's been plenty of support there. They're acknowledging there, and you see some of the crowd. Benny Hart, Mark Rasciuto, Trent Ormanell, and all good players. Mark Stevens went to full forward. Nigel Smart, great in defence. Peter Barney, who may have injured an ankle there, we're not so sure. Troy Bond, 5 goals. Andrew McLeod, brilliant off the half-back line, even better when he went to the half-forward line. And Brett James, pretty important in the midfield. Some good players there for Adelaide.
Now let's talk about Andrew McLeod. In the last quarter, he had 2 kicks.
Who won the game?
Okay, point taken.
He kicked 1 goal with him.
It was an important goal. Does that mean that 1 goal is more important than 6 kicks off half-back?
I think 1 goal at certain stages is the difference between winning and losing.
Yep.
Adelaide didn't lose anything in defence in that last quarter. They had desperation at ground level, where Andrew McLeod is very good, was fantastic. We'll stay with them. We're right in the middle of the huddle. They're going to sing the club song. It took a while to get used to it.
note to hit that last one.
Well, footballers don't do it.
And
well, not our most attractive supporter, but nevertheless he's there in spirit.
You've got plenty here, Cornsey. There's a lot of merchandise being sold in Melbourne by the looks of this.
Oh, it's
I'd
great.
say a fair
It is
percentage
great.
of the crowd of 34,000 were Adelaide, and the Crows got home 11-13 to 10 goals 10.
So, how's young Chrissy Grant coming along? No good. No? No. Can't, Mark. Can't even jump. Hey, Chris.
Yes.
You just need the right incentive.
Okay, come on, let's go.
The Cadbury AFL Mark of the Year. It's not only the players trying to win.
Yeah, not bad, Chris.
You could win family trips overseas or interstate. Watch the footy panel or game day each week for details.
Don't miss out on your free sheet of endangered animal stickers inside this weekend's Sunday Mail. Then complete your album by presenting the advertiser's sticker coupons to your local newsagent. Sticker sheets are 50 cents, with part proceeds going to the World Wildlife Fund. But be quick before they all disappear.
Tired of that? Well, try this. This week only, 30 to 50% off with 6 months interest-free. Try this, or this, or this, and the lowest price or it's free. Discount Lounge Centre, 90 Main South Road, Ranella, Discount City, Parafield, and 23 Anzac Highway, Keswick.
I think it was that pink one. Gives us Benadryl.
And if I've got a cough or something, it's normally Benadryl.
I think it begins with a B, actually.
She just takes Benadryl. And that tastes yum. It doesn't taste like the other ones that are yucky. And in the bottle.
Tastes really nice because I love strawberries.
She always gives us Benadryl. She does.
Benadryl makes your family feel better. Now also in chesty and dry formulas.
Don't you hate it when you pay full price for something, only to see it go on sale soon after? That's why Bunnings has done away with sales to bring you lowest prices every day. Like plastic buckets, only 87 cents, 4-litre spring fence coat from just $9.95, and pop-up sprinklers a bargain at $1.50 each. And if you happen to find an identical product at a cheaper price, we'll beat that price by 5%.
Bunnings!
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Clay's Coggan Street, Brompton is now open Sundays. Hundreds of rolls of carpet discounted up to half price. Part rolls, remnants even less. Vinyls discounted up to half price. Rolls and remnants, rugs and runners. McClay's Coggan Street, Brompton now open Sundays.
Paddies are arranged from $5.99 plus a chance to win a trip to the Commonwealth Games.
Get amongst the medals with Hardies and Sip and Save.
Stanley casks, $10.99, good value.
Western Gold,
Yeah.
$21.99.
Yeah.
What's the brandy?
$17.99.
Western Gold, $21.99.
If you like to sip and you want to save, you can't go past your local Sip and Save.
It's Seven's big Wednesday night of entertainment. At 7:30, Jag. And 3 people's lives are about to change.
Were you a collaborator, Willie? Your father was.
Forever, with secrets revealed on Jag. Then at 8:30, a personal battle begins on Blue Heelers.
What's up? Somebody knows something that we don't. I'm so scared of
A turning point for Dash. Then at 9:30, outrageous antics on Live and Kicking. Adelaide's home on 7 Wednesday night.
Collingwood kicked 4 goals to 3 in the last quarter, but the Crows hung on and won by 9 points, 11-13, 79 to 10-10, 70. Troy Bond got 5 goals, and the only multiple for Collingwood was Severio Rocker, who kicked 2 goals. Well, I suppose in the absence of their 2 leading goal kickers this year, Jarman and Jamison, the Crows needed someone to step up, and Bond certainly did that with 5 goals, and here he is with curls.
Yeah, thank you, Drew. Well, Troy, last 2 games on this ground, that's 9 goals, grand final 4 and 5 today. You must like it.
Yeah, it's just good to get a few goals, but the ball bounced my way. I was lucky enough, and he's lucky enough to kick it.
Your last couple of games have been on the half-back flank where you've played pretty well, and Malcolm Sludge up forward today.
Yeah, I've been playing bound back. It's a new experience for me, but it's good to get back up forward with Andy McLeod coming back today. He took his usual half-back flank, so he put me back up forward and, yeah, worked out all right.
And Troy, from upstairs, there was a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes, but the wind out there must have made it tough for the players.
Yeah, it certainly did. I mean, it looked like it favouring one end, then it turned around and went down the other. It was swirling around all day, so yeah, it did make conditions a bit hard.
And Nigel Smart off halfback and Andrew McLeod off halfback. We thought they were a bit of a brick wall, really, and they were just really significant for you guys.
Yeah, the back line was fantastic today. You know, everyone played well, and in that last quarter, you know, they held up strong, and yeah, it was a good win.
Tell me about this hamstring of yours. Like, to get over a hamstring in 2 weeks, that's pretty miraculous.
Yeah, last week I've had a bit of a hammy all year. I mean, I've had the hamstring tendon. It's been a bit sore and it's been causing me problems. But last week I felt, or a couple of weeks ago against the Bulldogs, I felt it a bit of a twinge, and during training this week it felt all right. So yeah, it was good to get through a game without doing it.
Good to see Matty Robin coming back into a bit of touch at centre half forward.
Yeah, he was fantastic today. You know, he always makes an option for us and leads hard and marks well. So no, he was great.
And with Smart and McLeod back, he's a great touch today at half back. You know, the Crows really have got a good defence when all players are available.
Yeah, I mean, it's slowly starting to get our side back together, and it's good to get Macca back, and Nigel was great today, Simon Goodwin, I mean, Pitto was great on Sav, so no, they all played well, so it was good.
I think Lee mentioned the wind. It must have been pretty difficult for the big guys, which of course gave you smaller fellas a lot of opportunities at ground level.
Yeah, with the wind swirling around, you know, it was hard to take grabs, but Rennie was fantastic, and ball come to ground. It gave opportunity for the smaller blokes to get the crumbs and bring it forward.
Rashido into the centre in the last half. He didn't get a lot of clean ball, but gee whiz, he really attacked it hard.
Yeah, he's a hard bloke, old Roo, and he ran through the packs a fair bit there. But no, he's I mean, second game back, he's starting to find a bit of touch. So hopefully next week he'll be even better.
Big win, well played. Back to you, Drew.
Thanks.
Thanks, girls. And Troy Bond, who kicked 5 goals today to lead the Crows to a 9-point win over Collingwood at the MCG. Now, this game down at Geelong, interesting, between the Brisbane Lions and Geelong. And some stations taking the replay after this. If you don't wish to know the final score, look away now. How's this for a dead face? I'm not going to give it away. We'll take a break. See.
The 1998 AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by Mitsubishi, Mutual Community, Mitre 10, Sip and Save, Ultratune, and The Advertiser.
This 7 News Update is brought to you by Colonial.
Good afternoon. Coming up on 790 News at 6 tonight, a major explosion averted as a truck driver is hailed a hero after managing to steer his out-of-control gas tanker into a paddock. A smash-and-grab jewellery heist at a busy suburban shopping centre. Prince William has a win over part of the paparazzi. And all today's AFL highlights with Bruce Abernathy. We'll see you at 6.
Nobody knows news like